is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Yeah. Big O, we told you we ain't playing no games, man. It's just surely probably Pablo, Culture, Lord Productions.
Good morning, South Florida.
This is the Big O Show.
You're tuned into the Big O Show.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Judge, you tuned in to the hottest sports radio show with Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams, from the Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Friday Pablo in the Big O Show. Oh,
On the radio, the top's where we gonna go. Miami, that's the way we roll. Locked on the morning show, Big O. No one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk live and direct. Because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, Mr. Live is the best of the best. He's got the fans, got the heat, he's the best of the best. Big O, the only talking sports with a style. Break it a morning, it's Big O and thank you for tuning in, keeping you glued in. Stay tuned because right here's where the rumors in. Same place because right here some of them begin. Simply call and just state your opinion. Real talk, sports talks, the Big O Show. Yeah, you love it, yeah, you like it, call him and let him know.
Culture, probably Pablo. You know, now introducing the man of the hour, Big O, a.k.a. Orlando also Gary. Yeah.
It's a Wednesday, baby. We are at VSS West Pines. That's what it's all about. Come on out and join us. We'll be out here for a few hours having some fun at 12397 Pembroke Road. We're out here. Everybody's out here. Jose, Jason, all the boys are ready to rock. Tommy, Alex, everybody's out here. So come on out and join us. We'll be having some fun throughout the day here, broadcasting live. Lot of things to talk about today, and we're going to get to a lot of sports talk, obviously, today with the Heat, unfortunately, losing last night to the Lakers, 102-96. The Marlins lost to the Braves, 9-5. We got a bunch of NFL news that is also breaking too. That we've got to go talk about also. But yesterday, after we got off the air, I want to say about 2 hours after, 2.5 hours after, came across that Eddie Van Halen had passed away. And it was one of those states for me of, you know, you kind of got like an immediate depression setting in, you know, and it's a moment where you're watching the Marlins game, you can't wait for the Heat game later on in the evening, and you've got to sit and all that, and you get hit like a ton of bricks. Look, some of you out there could give a rat's ass about Eddie Van Halen. Some of you barely even know anything about Van Halen. So it doesn't really affect your world nearly as much. But, you know, 2020 has sucked in so many different ways for all of us. And it's been a setback for all of us, right? I mean, we've all suffered serious setbacks because of 2020. And we're still in the process of suffering setbacks. And it's probably still going to get a little worse, too, because we haven't really done enough to end the pandemic because the guy at the top doesn't take it serious. So it continues to fester, you know what I mean? Hey, just go look at Mike Holmgren's comments, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But yesterday I get the news of Eddie Van Halen, and people tell me all the time, oh, why do you go to so many concerts? I saw you posted, this is the third time, the 10th time, the 15th time you've seen this band. If you saw them once, why do you want to see them again? You know, and it's hard to explain to people that don't have a passion for live music like I do. It's hard to explain to people that don't have a passion for music, period, like I do. You know what I mean? And so I know that the people that do feel like I do. And I know it's not a majority of you out there, but for me, Eddie Van Halen was a big part of my growing up. Van Halen was a huge part of my, teenage years, let's say. I still remember hearing Running with the Devil for the first time and that boom, 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 boom. And it's just one of those things that from that moment on, that band captured, my attention, my fandom right away. Always went to see them in concert when they came. My first Eddie Van Halen concert was 1981, the Fair Warning Tour, over at the Hollywood Sportatorium. I still, to this day, I can still picture my dad in his big Ford truck dropping me off 2 blocks away from the Sporto. Because I told him, no, you got to drop it. You're not
Can't
dropping
be seen with your dad, bro.
Yeah, no. And my dad was one of the few dads that actually had cool vehicles that you could actually. It's not bad that he drops you off in a badass.
In hindsight, you should have let him drop you off.
Yeah, whether he was driving a truck or a Vet or a Mercedes, he always had nice wheels. So it was one of those deals that it's not a bad thing in that case, but you still don't want to get caught, with your parents, right? So, and at that time I'm 15 years old. I think I'm 14, gonna be 15, and he drops me off 2 blocks away from the Sporto. And if you know anything about the Sporto, 2 blocks away from the Sporto means you're really about a half a mile away from the actual building itself, because there's a whole parking lot and everything till you get to the Sporto. So, he dropped me off quite a distance from it, and that was planned.
Right by Morosa Speedway, right there.
Yeah, it's before that. So you still have to walk through the Speedway and the parking lot and then get to, the place. And so that was my first concert, and obviously I saw them multiple times in almost every tour after that. And Eddie Van Halen was a guy. I remember when they reunited years ago, after they had been broken up for a while, and they restarted their tour. They started up in New York, and I was afraid that the tour would not get to South Florida because they could break up again. I flew with my wife to see them in Jersey. Flew in, checked out the concert, and then flew back out early in the morning. So all we did, we didn't even stay in a hotel or anything. We just went right back to the airport and took a red eye on the way back. And so just one of those deals where it's a huge part of my life. You always wanted to try to find seats on the right side where Eddie was jamming. You know what I mean? Nothing against Michael Anthony. You knew you were going to see David all over the stage. In the younger days, obviously, and that last concert, not the last concert, but the last few concerts, it wasn't the same David that we had in the 80s. That was a whole different David Lee Roth when we talk about the showmanship, the athleticism, and all of that. But Eddie was a guy that you knew you were watching something special every time. And it was a thing that you marveled. And when you went to that concert and you had friends of yours that were also musicians, you saw how they marveled at Eddie. And when you watch other musicians that are big-time musicians talk about Eddie, it's like we all had that same feeling. Because I was talking about this I was texting back and forth with some guys yesterday, and for me, the most influential rock guitarists are Jimi Hendrix and Eddie Van Halen. To me, those are and they're the 2 best. Okay, and I'm talking about rock to the edge of metal. I'm not talking about all genres. I'm not talking because there's that's subjective, and we can get into all kinds of names at that point, from Stevie Ray Vaughan to you name it, to Gary Moore. You know what I'm saying? So there's all kinds of people that we can throw in there. But Eddie was a guy that everybody wanted to copy. A lot of people wanted to sound like him. He was innovative in the way he did his playing and his style, and influential too with the things he did. Just when you know, like when you're watching Michael Jordan every night, you know it's something special. When you're watching Pat Mahomes, you know it's something special. And to me, when somebody asked me years ago, like, dude, why are you going to go all the way up to Jersey to go see Halen, you know? And I said, Eddie, I got to go see Eddie. I mean, the last couple of trips to see a Van Halen concert, I did not go because I expected a great concert by the singing standards. David Lee Roth, his voice, he never had a great voice, but it sounded good with that music in those days. But he could never even do that anymore. He doesn't even sound like that old David Lee Roth from back in the day. So all those last concerts that I went to from Van Halen, I want to say maybe the last 6 concerts of Van Halen, because that was past the 90s. I went strictly for Eddie.
Background vocals were carrying the songs.
Yes. Well, and they always had great harmonies with the guys.
But I mean, they would switch and do the lead.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It just was never, and it shows you that I was willing to pay the money. I was willing to travel because I wanted to see Eddie. Because and when people would ask me, and I've said for years, David's voice is shot. And then when people hear, hey, I'm going to go to the Halen concert, they're going to go, dude, but you say all the time, Ross' voice is shot. And I go, yeah, but Eddie can still play. So I want to go see the show. I want to go see Eddie. And when Eddie did a guitar solo in the middle of the concert, it was like Neil Peart doing his solo in a Rush concert. It was the moment, the highest peak of that concert in that moment. As great as Van Halen was, as entertaining as it was, you wanted to see the Eddie Van Halen solo. Rush's concerts were phenomenal from beginning to end. You did not want to miss a Neil Peart solo. That's just the way it goes. There are certain solos for certain bands and certain musicians that you knew at that moment you were watching something special. And Eddie was the kind of guy that wasn't really doing the same solo every night. So you were watching something different from the night before, because he was one of those guys that would ad-lib. Remember, Eddie never learned how to read music. So it was just one of those things. And he just had the magic of it and the ear and everything, and he was just at another level. You know what I mean? And for me, yesterday when I got the news, I mean, 2020 has sucked because we've already lost some great people. 2020 has sucked because it has set our entire world back. You know what I mean? So many people have lost their jobs, their careers, businesses. I just read, I forgot which one it was, but it was, I don't know if I wrote the story down or just read it, but there's a business that I read, that big-time business, that is just absolutely they're out. They're done because COVID has just torn them apart, and they can't keep all these businesses that are just taking on losses after losses after losses, and they're trying to hang in there to wait till we come back, and we don't come back.
You can only bleed for so long.
Yeah, and 2020 has been terrible in so many different ways for so many people, and we're all still trying to survive because we're tough some bitches as Americans. But yesterday, to get the news, and I know Eddie was dealing with the cancer for a long time and battling it, and to see what Wolfgang wrote, you know, about his dad, and when he says, I don't think I'll ever fully recover, I can tell you, Wolfgang, that you never recover. Okay, you won't ever fully recover. It's just something you learn to live with, because I had a great relationship with my dad, and I loved my dad. I still love my dad to this day, obviously. Love him more now than ever. Than, you know, I haven't had him around for so long. But you never stop. There's at one point of the day, at one point or something, I will think about my dad. You know what I mean? And yesterday I even thought about him because I thought about the 81 Fair Warning concert, because that's the only concert he took me to of Van Halen. the next time Van Halen, came to town, I had wheels and I was already, off and running at that point. But it's just one of those deals that I would tell Wolfgang if I knew him. I would say, and I always tell people, anybody that loses a loved one like that, I usually tell them, my condolences and all of that. I know it's a tough moment, and because I experienced it, I warn them ahead of time. You're never going to recover. You have to just learn to live with it, is what you do. I mean, unless you didn't have a great relationship with your parent, then maybe it's not that difficult to recover. But if you had a great relationship with your parent, I can tell you for a fact, with my dad, I've never recovered ever. And so obviously my thoughts and prayers are out to Wolfgang and everybody in the Van Halen family and all of you out there that are Van Halen fans. And if you ever got to see Eddie Van Halen, I think you know what I'm talking about. And if you never got to see him and you missed out on the opportunity, you missed out on something absolutely special. And thoughts and prayers, rest in peace, Eddie Van Halen. I wish I was able to see you one more time. That's why I was telling this jerky here a couple days ago. I said, whenever AC/DC returns to tour, I'm going to fly out wherever they're going to start their tour, and I'm going to be there for one of the first few dates of that tour. Maybe not the first one, might be the second or the third, but I know it's not going to start here because it normally doesn't. So wherever it is, anywhere in the world, I'm going to go because, again, you just don't know when it's the last time you'll see Angus Young. You just don't know. Brian Johnson just lost his hearing, and obviously he's been able to get some kind of, contraption for his ear so he can save his hearing, but for how long? You know what I mean? And that's why when they ask me, well, why are you going to go see him again? Well, it might be the last time I see Robert Smith. It might be the last time I see Lemmy Kilmister. It might be the last time I see Tom Petty. And that's happened, by the way, where I saw Lemmy Kilmister and Motorhead, and he passes away 2 weeks later. I saw Tom Petty. He passed away 2 months later. Because you just never know when any of us are going to check out. We never know when they need us upstairs. And we never know when is the last day. So if you love it, go experience it. Go enjoy it. Appreciate it. Don't let anybody ever tell you, don't let anybody ever question your happiness.
Yeah, when we do back-to-backs, I have people going, you just went to the show last night. Why are you going? Dude, I honestly, bro.
They don't love music like we do.
I could put
That's the difference.
Dude, I could take us there right now. Coral Sky, the last time I saw us together. It's the last time I saw him, last time we saw him together. We're sitting there, and obviously David and all the bad in this, and Eddie started, and get up. This is why we're here.
Yeah, Eddie, man.
And I have it. I am so glad that I recorded that whole solo, bro.
Yeah.
And obviously 1984, catching his guitar. Dude, we've had great concert moments, backstage, whatever, okay? Dude, that moment, catching his guitar pick,
sure,
1984, that is my greatest concert moment and probably will never be touched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
was
amazing stuff, man. Amazing stuff. And for those of you out there that are hurting like we are,
you know what it reminded me of?
Hang in there, man.
When I heard Michael Hutchison passing away.
Yeah.
I felt the same, just that gut.
Yeah.
Yeah. You killed me because I was about 10 blocks from my house, and I'm like,
Bowie,
man.
Prince. Yeah.
Oh, Prince. Prince was. But those two, because they were so close. So, because for me it was Kiss, Black Sabbath, Van Halen.
Right.
U2. In that order, my favorites.
Right.
From start, music, Kiss, then Sabbath, then Van Halen, then U2. They're all equal. 1A, 1B, 1C. Dude, yeah, yesterday, horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
On the chat board, Ian from Brooklyn is first in the house. NorCal is in. Matthew Walker, Victor Vitoni, Gus 1388, Alex Diaz, Herman, Drew Boo, Man of 1,005 holds. Gio Milian says, hope is all is good. He's Atlanta's in the house. Ray is in. Julius 305, he says, good afternoon, brawl. There you go. A little, you're on the Dolphins brawl. I like it. Rich V. Let's see. The Wizard says, Big O therapy after 2 Miami losses yesterday. Yeah, we'll get to that, my man. Drew Boo says, VSS, great place to celebrate Eddie Van Halen. Damn right. Adam Pinkster is in. Good afternoon, everybody, he says. James Roman is in with a little love. Adam says, am I embellishing or was yesterday depressing as hell? Losing Eddie Van Halen, the Heat, Marlins laying an egg. Yeah, it was tough. The Marlins had a little bit of going for a little while, and then Atlanta got on a roll. And
why did they hit him? That opened it up, right?
Acuna with that opposite field home run. It was tough. John Santos, good afternoon, Big O and Bill. What's your take on Gonzalo Higuain? He's only played a couple games, bro. It's going to be tough, and no Pizarro now. It's going to be a really tough one. Tonight is going to be really, really difficult, man. They've got a lot of people out. We'll get to that, too. James Roman is EVH RIP. Drew Boo is in there. Your fans know who Eddie Van Halen is. Oh, even my youngins know. Yeah, but that's because they're your youngins. You understand? If they're raised by different people, they will have no idea who Eddie Van Halen is. Alex Diaz says my favorite Van Halen is Right Now. There you go. That's Van Hagar. I got you. Victor Victoni says you go to concerts for the experience. I'm 49 and 80s rock is life. Go to as many concerts as possible. Uplifting memories. And not only that, for me, concerts are not just, great memories, great moments, and for me, it's therapy. That's what it is. When I get to go to a concert, I feel like for me, I'm in the happiest place on earth when I'm at a concert. I could be at a concert every night of my life. I really could. I enjoy watching bands live. I think that is when you really get to see the talents of a band, and when you love them and when you love the music, it's just something that I can't explain it, but there's a comfort level that I go through. It's kind of like I feel balanced. It's not
going to a live event is great. We talked about sporting events, but there is we're for this team, we're for that team. When you're at a concert, we're all together. The whole crowd, there is not anybody on the other team.
Right.
That's right. It's an amazing environment.
That's true. That's very true. Good point. Drew Booth says, I remember drawing VH on my denim notebook, and friends who were into hip-hop gave a listen and became a fan after I gave them the 84 record and tape. There you go. Drew Booth says, I literally gave a crap about any sports yesterday. Yeah. It was kind of, when you're watching the Heat and the Marlins, knowing that EVH died, it was kind of, it was one of those where the day wasn't the same. You know what I mean? James says, lost my chance to see Van Halen and Metallica at Monsters of Rock in the OB in '88. I went to that concert. I was 13 years old, and my father wouldn't let me go. I knew I'd missed something special that day. It was Scorpions, Van Halen, Metallica, Megadeth, somebody else. Now I'm forgetting, but I remember that concert. Let's see. O's priority for today started with Van Halen. Mad respect, of course. Mike Nogo says, I'll be listening to Van Halen for the rest of the week. I watched a lot of videos yesterday, man, right leading up to the Heat game. I was watching a lot of Van Halen videos, I got to say. There you go. There you go. I was lucky enough to see Van Halen 3 times live, each time in a different venue, Mike No Go Zone says. Tremolio says, what a lot of peeps don't know or understand is if they don't play guitar, it's that the rhythm playing was way better than his solos. Van Halen started with Ed on drums and Alex on guitar. R.I.P. Ed. Let's see. Julius 305 says, nice nuggets, Tremolio. There you go. Tremolio's always dropping nuggets. Alex Diaz says, it's hard for a GM to take that Texans job. Okay, well, not talking about that right now.
In the Beat It, him messing around with his guitar, he's in the, 5150, and that little, that's him doing stuff, drill on a neck of a guitar, and it came out over the amp, and it's in the song.
Yeah.
Like, always just, he talked about always trying to tinker and mess with the sound.
Yeah. Yeah, David says, EVH suggested that always having a metal guitar pick in his mouth may have contributed to cancer along with heavy smoking. Yes. Yeah, because apparently where it started when he got his first time, it's where the spot where he would put his pick in his mouth, supposedly. But he was also a chain smoker. I mean,
they said, it was like
you never saw him without a cigarette.
Jackie Gleason, Yul Brenner, that 5 packs a day. Yeah. Dude, I did the math one time, 100 cigarettes. To smoke 100 cigarettes for 18 hours, you got to have a cigarette in your mouth like almost every 8 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So literally every minute of your life, there's a cigarette lit.
I think Winston Churchill smoked 6 to 8 cigars a day. And
he was walking around. Well, no, because you get used to it. But I was going to say he was like on a high.
And my man was and he smokes Churchills because he is Churchill. Okay, and that's where it comes from. So he was smoking those 12, 16-inch cigars all day long, dude. You know what I mean? But Eddie, we all know, had all kinds of issues with alcohol and. You know, there were moments where you saw him and you knew he wasn't in good shape too. You know what I mean? He went through some really, really downs. It's a shame, man. It's a shame. But I
Valerie Bertinelli had a really touching send out.
Yeah.
I liked Fleece too. You know, him and Jimmy are up there playing.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I mean, if you on Twitter yesterday, it was just awesome. You know, watching everybody react on Twitter, and I follow a lot of musicians.
Geezer Butler chiming in from Sabbath.
Everybody, dude,
Yeah.
everybody. It was Paul Stanley. It was Gene Simmons, who was the guy that discovered them.
Yeah, special thanks on the first album in the back.
Yeah, it just everything. It was just David Coverdale. You name it, bro. It was just one name after another. I thought Nita Strauss actually had a really nice post also, because she was like, you know, people throw around, influential and GOAT. They throw it around loosely, and very few people actually deserve that. There's the one guy that deserves it. And I thought she was right because, you know, a lot of people kind of throw it out there. And there are a lot of great ones, but they're not nearly influential. They're just great, okay? And then there's nothing wrong with being great, but Eddie was great, and he was definitely one of the GOATs, you know, one of the most influential guitarists of all time, because he got their instrument and then took it to another level, you know what I mean?
One of my favorite videos, I remember, and if you could find it on YouTube, it might be out there still. They're doing a tribute to Les Paul, the guy that, of course, created the electric guitar, and him and Eddie are up on stage. It is so awesome.
Yeah, no, definitely. Last night I was watching tons of videos, man, looking for stuff that I'd never seen from Halen, old stuff. It was good. It was good. It was the only way I could kind of try to, you know, recover a little bit and remember some of the stuff out there. Gus says, one of my favorite Eddie solos, in addition to Eruption, was Respect the Wind. Well, I tell you, listen to On Fire. That is my favorite Van Halen song, and the guitar in On Fire is absolutely amazing. All right, let's do this. We're at the bottom of the hour here. Let's take a quick break. We're at VSS West Pines. Come on by and say hi. Would love to meet you. Would love to say hi, so come on by. And don't forget that if you mention me, of course, you get 20% off of your purchase. So make sure you mention me when you come out here to VSS West Pines. Let's take a quick break. Do want to tell you that Toyota of Hollywood, where we'll be at tomorrow, broadcasting live, is a proud sponsor of our show. And when we talk about Toyota of Hollywood, folks, listen, we're talking about a place that has over 400,000 square feet, over 1,500 cars and trucks. The selection is second to none. And by the way, if you're looking to go buy or lease a vehicle and you've got a trade-in, take it on down there, and they give you the price for the trade-in. Then you tell them, hey, Big O says I will get $1,000 extra on my trade-in, and they're going to give you $1,000 extra on your trade-in. So get on down there to 1841 North State Road 7. Go see Steve Ostrov and Herbie Lopez and all the great people out there. They'll take care of you at Toyota of Hollywood.
Hey, it's Big O. For all of your family dental needs, please reach out to Moody's Dental. I've known Eric for a while, a big fan of our show. Call him at 305-821-0231. Whether it's you or your kids that need some dental help, whether it's implants, Invisaligns, they are the experts. Or if you're just looking to fill a cavity or clean your teeth, or maybe even get a crown, you are going to love the professionalism, the family-like atmosphere. And of course, when you talk about being clean, that's what it's all about in today's society. You are going to go to an extremely clean place. Go to moody'sdental.com, go to the website, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Moody's Dental. Tell them that Big O sent you, 305-821-0231, or go to moody'sdental.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com. A travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Hey, it's Big O. For all of your CBD, THC, or hookah needs, you got to get on down to VSS West Pines at 12397 Pembroke Road. Yes, they have got legal THC. You've got to check it out. And they've got, of course, when it comes to CBD, flower, tinctures, edibles, for all kinds of reasons, whether it's pain, stress, anxiety, you name it. And don't forget, when you mention my name, you'll get 20% off. Tell the boys out there that I told you to get on down to VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road, and call them 954-613-3367. Legal THC, CBD, all of your hookah needs. You go to VSS West Pines.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with zero down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
We back. Oh, man.
Yeah, yesterday, because I got the Yankees on top of the Heat, the Marlins. Man, it's Eddie, dude, it sucked.
Yeah.
Yesterday was one of the worst days.
Yep, it was a tough one yesterday, man. Let's go over some of the stuff that's going on in the world of sports. Obviously, yesterday the Miami Heat lost to the Lakers, 102-96. Lakers now take a commanding 3-1 series lead. This thing is pretty much over. It's going to be really hard. Look, the Heat, they battled, man, yesterday. They were there to the end. And then the Lakers pulled away, and when AD hit that big three, it was over. And, you know, I got to give him a lot of love for trying. I can be a little critical. And I warned you guys about this, right? I said, is this going to be a Chris Middleton type moment, where Chris Middleton had his moment to keep the Bucks alive and avoid the sweep, and they won the one game, and I think that's what's going to end up happening here. And Jimmy Butler last night, you know, I it's impossible to be critical of Jimmy Butler, okay? Let me just say that, all right? I don't want to be really critical of Jimmy Butler, but I thought he started the game way too passive. I thought he was forcing the issue on trying to get others involved. And I did not see the same aggressive Butler that he should have been going to the hole right from the get-go. He should have been trying to draw fouls on Anthony Davis. And there's a reason why he is a guy that is an all-star and not a superstar. Because the superstar goes out every night to be that superstar. And if Jimmy wanted to be that superstar, last night was the opportunity for him to be that superstar. And when he came out so passive, I just thought it didn't really set the Heat up well. And regardless, they still were competitive. They still were in the game. They led at times. When they trailed, it was a close game up until the end when they pulled away. They still had a chance. You know what I mean? Tyler hit some, killer shots that you're like, wow. Still didn't do enough, okay? He had 21 points, shot 3 of 7 from three-point range. I needed a little bit more out of him. Duncan Robinson was 3 of 6 from three-point range for 17 points. Needed a little bit more out of those guys. But they helped out a little bit, no doubt, yesterday. Jay Crowder is an absolute cancer as a three-point shooter. I know he got one late, and he ended up with 2 of 7. The man is 17 of 52 in his last 9 games. Okay? He missed his first 5 shots, and that 5th shot he missed led to a run for the Lakers, just like Jimmy missing the 3 led to another run for the Lakers, and they were bad moments for Miami. And look, I know Jimmy has hit some threes, but he's not a three-point shooter because he can't hit them on a consistent basis. And Jay Crowder, I know he went into a run where he was actually nailing threes. But if you've watched Crowder enough throughout your career or throughout your existence, like I have, or throughout his career, let's say, he's not a three-point shooter. He's not a guy you want volume shooting from three-point range. Maybe an occasional 3, okay, but you don't want him shooting 5, 6, 7, 8 times from 9 times sometimes from three-point range. I'm sorry. Okay? Jay Crowder has never been a three-point shooter. Never will be a three-point shooter. Either you are or you're not at this point in your career. I get it if you're a rookie, second-year player, still molding that shot, still figuring it out. After you've been in the league as long as Jay Crowder has, you're Jay Crowder, bro. It ain't changing. And that's one thing that I've seen that's been irresponsible for the Heat and for Spoelstra. You should have already had that conversation with him several games ago, like, yo, Jay, we need you to calm down on the threes. Go to the rim, step in a little closer. You're not shooting from a high percentage from three-point range. You're hurting us more than helping us from three-point range. Okay? That would be a couple of my complaints from yesterday's game. Look, in the end, I'm not going to go crazy here because they're not supposed to beat the Lakers anymore. If Bam was healthy, and he played pretty well considering he's not 100% yesterday, and Goran was on the court and healthy, and they're losing, then I can complain. I can feel like, okay, wait a minute, you guys got to do better than that. With the losses they had in Game 1 till now, and I know they got Bam back, I'm sorry, I'm not going to go crazy. It's kind of like the Heat. It's kind of like the Dolphin thing. You got people going crazy, and it's like, well, do you realize that the 3 losses are to teams that are 10-2? I'm just wondering, are you sure about that? Like, they were competitive and all that, but they're not supposed to beat Buffalo, and they're really not, supposed to beat the Patriots early on with Cam. And what was the other loss? Bills, and what was the other loss that they weren't supposed to? The other 4-0 team that they played? Whatever. Anyway, you know who I'm talking about. Now I'm forgetting the damn game that they played. Seattle. Just happened. Anyway, so they're not supposed to beat those. It's kind of the same thing. I'm not going to go crazy here. We were all hoping for a miracle, and if everything went well yesterday, they might have been able to pull off the miracle, but unfortunately it did not. And the one thing that I would say is Jimmy, dude, you got to come out aggressive. You have to come out like you want it, like you want to score. It's not that you're being greedy or selfish. It's what your team needs right now. And when you were greedy and selfish 2 games ago and you scored 40, everybody else fed off of you. I think you need to go back to doing that in game 5. So we'll see what happens. On Friday, by the way, it won't be tomorrow. They're off till Friday, so we have to wait till Friday for that game at 9 o'clock on ABC. All right. And the other thing, not only was Jay 2 of 7, but Kendrick Nunn still can't find his shot, 2 of 6. See, the thing is, again, and this is not hindsight or anything like that. I've been telling you Kendrick Nunn hasn't had his shot for I don't know how many months now. He has no business shooting 6 times. None. Kendrick. None. Jay Crowder. No business shooting 7 times. None. And then Jimmy Butler shot 0 of 3. He's not a three-point shooter. Okay? I mean, Olynyk was 0 of 2, and he is a three-point shooter. But that's kind of those are the things that kind of helped bury you yesterday, that the people that are inefficient were allowed to shoot way too much yesterday. And you can't I'm sorry, better decisions have to be made out there on the court.
Especially with the low scoring. You have to be more efficient, because there's not as many offensive possessions.
Ian goes, Nunn was really stinking up the joint. Dude, Nunn's been stinking up the joint since January. Okay? Nunn's shot has failed him forever now. He won, he challenged for Rookie of the Year honors and all that only because of his first 2 months of the regular season. That's it. He lived off of those 2 months. If they would have had that dynamic Nunn, I would have really helped out against the Lakers. That would have been really, really nice. Super Boom Shack drops the super chat. Thank you, sir. He says, R.I.P. Eddie Van Halen. These are my favorite songs from the first 6 albums. On Fire, DOA, Romeo Delight, Dirty Moves, Hang 'em High, Girl Gone Bad. Some of my best memories from Van Halen concerts. This one hurts. I feel you, Super Boom Shack, man. And you picked some great, great songs, man. And those are hardcore Van Halen. You're a hardcore Van Halen fan. First of all, the average fan has never heard On Fire. They don't even know On Fire.
I'm on fire.
Boom, boom, boom.
We got to see it in 1984. I think that's what they opened up with.
Yeah, nobody knows that song unless you're a hardcore. Romeo Delights.
Isn't that the one
Dirty
that's in
Movies. Those are not songs that the average fan knows. You got to be a hardcore Van Halen fan to actually know, Dead or Alive, Hang 'em High. I mean, those are all like
Full Bug.
Yeah, those are like B-side songs that are not the popular songs from Van Halen. So
got 1 foot out the door.
Yeah, man. Nice
Romeo
jobs.
Delight, isn't that the one where he hits 17 or 18 notes at one time? It's in the Guinness Book of World Records or something.
Romeo Delight is an awesome song. Awesome. Clifton Wellman says, it's over, but I love my Heat. How can you not love the Heat, bro? I mean, the Heat have had a phenomenal year, a great year. It doesn't matter what happens in the finals, even if they got swept. Okay, with Bam and Goran healthy, even if they got swept, it was going to be a great year. They could not ruin what they have accomplished already. You know what I'm saying? It's been an awesome year. We should be so proud of them, to be honest with you. And this is over the second Bam and Goran got injured. I mean, it's hard to imagine them winning, and it just almost feels like, 2 games ago, it was just like a Middleton moment, basically, is what it was.
Considering
They
two,
were able to stave off elimination.
game 2, 3, 4, the way that they turned out, okay? If we have a full, healthy Heat, man, there is no doubt in my mind we win those 3 games.
No
doubt.
I think if they're all healthy, you're leading this series right now.
3-1, right? The first game, even though we went down like in the first quarter, whatever, part of the second.
Oh, they were getting their ass kicked.
But game 2, losing by 10-3, obviously, and then last night, 6 points. There's no doubt in my mind, Bam and Draj healthy, man, we're up 3-1.
Yep. Big O, what do you think about Riley trying to get Giannis to the Heat next season? I heard he will be a free agent. Yeah, not this offseason, the next one in the summer. Yes. He's going to try. I'm sure they're going to try. We'll see. I don't know if it's going to happen, but we'll see. So Heat, unfortunately, end up dropping 3-1 in the series. The one thing that did go well last night, okay, was my picks. I mean, I don't know if I could have described it better last night. Did I not? First of all, I told you to
hit it right on the head, bro. Dude, nailed it.
I told you to take the points, so you won by taking the points. Okay, whether you got it at 7.5 or 8, it doesn't matter. You won. I got them on both. You know that? I got it at 7.5. When it went to 8, I also doubled down because I really like the Heat plus the points. And then the key.
You're playing with house money. You can do that.
Oh, yeah. No. And then the key, I told you yesterday, I go, Bam's playing. And it wasn't official by the time our show was on yesterday. It became official later on in the afternoon. But when they put him up to questionable from doubtful, I knew that he was going to play him. So I told you yesterday during my picks that if Bam is playing, it will be more of a defensive game. Go with the under 218.5. What was the total? Huh? 198 points. Okay. So they were 20 points under the under. All right? At 218.5. So we went 2-0 against the spread yesterday in the NBA. We are now 42, 27, and 2 against the spread in the NBA playoffs. 42, 27, and 2. You got that, Bill? We're 15 games
above, bro. That's
above 500.
You got plenty of money for the VIG, and then you got plenty in your pocket.
Well, I know that. I know that.
Damn, bro. That is very impressive. Seriously, bro.
The account is rolling right now, bro. It's rolling. It is awesome.
So the NBA playoffs is going to be able to bankroll any plays you make in the NFL during the regular season, right?
I just wish I had some concerts to go to. I got some extra money.
Oh, man.
I got some extra money for some concerts. So there you go. So we are 42, 27, and 2 against the number. 15 above 500. That's some ass kicking right there. I think the early line is also 7.5, if I'm correct. And right now, I am leaning, just so you'll know, for those of you that are keeping up with it and you're making a little money with me here, let me tell you, I think it was 7.5 the last time I checked. I just want to make sure. It's 7. I'm taking the Heat. Obviously, they're going to try to stave off elimination, so they're going to play their asses off. So I'm going to take the plus 7. The over and under went down to 216 now because Bam is playing. So they brought it down a little bit more. I haven't made a decision yet on the over and under, but right now I'm leaning to taking the 7 points and taking the Heat and taking the dog in this one. But we'll give you our final picks tomorrow. Well, actually, we don't have to give them to you till Friday. They're not on till Friday. So we got a couple days until we have to give you the picks. So on Friday's show from Craig Zane Acura, we will give you our selections between the Heat and the Lakers. But right now I'm leaning to Miami +7, and the under is probably the better play because of Bam playing, because it becomes more of a defensive game, like I told you yesterday.
I'm pretty sure we win that game Friday. We're not going down like that, and especially the extra days for Spoelstra to prepare.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure we're going to get that win, man. We're not going down like this.
Well, we got Willie listening. He says, Big O in my office and cubicle listening. Toya, bro. There you go. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you listening. Let's see. What else do we have here? Troy Ortiz says, the Heat are one top 10 player away from another championship. If we don't get Giannis, who else do you think we have a shot at getting? Well, dude, I don't know if it fits anymore, but the kid with Washington, Beasley. Not Beasley, what's his name now? Beal, Bradley Beal. Okay? That would be one. You got to look for, all you got to do, my man, remember, I keep telling you guys this, all you got to do is look for the disgruntled star, the frustrated star that says, I want out of this team, that can't stand doing what they're doing right now, and they want to go win, they want to get paid, they want to whatever, okay? So when you, that guy, target whoever is available, and that might be the guy that they go after.
That's the formula that opens the door for Riley
Always.
to weave his magic, right?
Always. Because the disgruntled star now is a leverage loss for the team because the guy hates you, so he doesn't want to come back to you. So now you've got to trade him.
You got to get something before you get nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what Riley does. And so you got to look at the guys that are either disgruntled or unhappy about their situations, or they're constantly losing and they want to get out. Those are the guys that Riley will be targeting.
And as a good team, you can't let a super talented person walk away and not get something in return.
Nope.
That's when your team takes a hit and you don't recover from that.
Nope. We got some COVID news, unfortunately, in the NFL. Stephon Gilmore has tested positive for COVID-19 now. And let me tell you something. Here's the problem with Stephon Gilmore testing positive for COVID-19. I think somebody on a show said that it was irresponsible to play the Kansas City-New England game, right? I'm not sure who it was on this podcast, but somebody said that you shouldn't be playing Kansas City-New England, correct? I think somebody said that.
That would be you exactly 2 days ago, segment number 16, by the way.
So now you've got Stephon Gilmore from the Patriots testing positive. That means it was dormant inside his ass during the game. That means he's asymptomatic, and now he's passing it on to players in Kansas City that he's tackling. It's like the Tennessee Titans got 2 more players test positive now. They were about to go back into their facility, now 2 more. People are, look, I get it, man. The guy at the top in the country doesn't take it serious, and you got enough people that are stupid enough that listen to that guy, okay? The guy that says to put bleach in your veins, okay? That guy, okay? And then you have people that are stupid enough to follow anything he says. And then, he came out and compared it to the cold again. It's like, wow, dude, I mean, how stupid are you? And then the problem is there's enough stupid people in this country that will believe the guy and then repeat like parrots all the misinformation he spews. This thing is highly contagious. This is not something that you mess around with. And the NFL, because of all the billions of dollars, because they don't care about human beings, okay? They just don't give a shit. They got to get their games in. And they're going to go through hell or high water. And what you just did in that Kansas City and New England game was you now created a cocktail of COVID. Because Jordan Ta'amu tested positive, the backup quarterback in Kansas City, and Cam Newton, the number one quarterback on their team, tested positive. Now you got your number one corner testing positive in New England. It's not going to end there. Tennessee has now a total of 10 players testing positive. If you cannot keep people apart, and in football it's impossible to keep people apart, it's going to be impossible to keep the damn virus out of your building. And apparently, it's not like the players are willing to bubble up. And that tells me that the powerful players are influencing everybody else out there, because there's a lot of players that would rather bubble up to make sure they can make their money this year. But guys like Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady and other guys that have made their money, they don't care. They've made their money. They've got it in the bank. So if this season doesn't happen or they lose half the season, they don't care. They've got the big old signing bonuses, in their banks. And Ndamukong Suh's made a boatload of money. He doesn't care. It's just
They don't have to accumulate a paycheck every week, every month, whatever it is they get paid. Like, those guys are good for a couple years.
Oh, they're done. They're good for their lifetime already at this point. Patriots, by the way, have had to close their facility now, okay? Because remember, you had Cam and Bill Murray, not the comedian, not actor, the defensive tackle, test positive last week. And they host the Broncos on Sunday. This whole thing about, you haven't tested positive for 2 days. Well, dude, haven't you noticed that this thing can stay dormant in people for a while? And you don't know you have it? You're not getting any symptoms, but you have it, and you're spreading it. That's why opening schools is so dangerous, because all these kids are going to be carriers, and they're going to spread it to the teachers and the administrators. But, of course, they don't care about the teachers or the administrators. They don't care if they kill them. They don't care if the teachers or administrators go home and kill people like me. Of course not. They don't care. And again, it's all greed from the NFL, dude. All greed. That's it. Titans, by the way, with 2 players testing positive now. They will not open their facility today. And they've got the Bills this week. So no word yet on if that game will be played. 10 Titans players now have tested positive for COVID. That's crazy, dude. I mean, COVID is running rampant, and the NFL is a lot like our government. They have no plan on how to really. You watch the NBA, they see it's a pandemic, they plan accordingly and do the right things, and they get their season done. You watch the NFL, and they're a bunch of screw-ups. Tell you, just ridiculous stuff.
You called this, man. Segment 16 2 days ago. That this is going to be,
and it's going to continue now.
Yeah. It ain't going to.
Now you played the game, and they all got sweaty and spit on each other and breathe on each other.
Kansas City's the next blip on the radar.
Yeah. So now you're going to be spreading it, and now you're going to see more people testing positive from these teams. And if you don't actually isolate these people for 2 weeks and constantly test them to make sure it's out of their system, you're not going to get it out. Look what's going on in the White House. Every day somebody's testing positive.
I think they said there's, 11 people now?
The orange man just went back to the White House, and he's actually contagious. Brother, I mean, you got to write a movie about that stuff that went on in the White House over the last 4 years. Kenneth Cleveland chiming in with a little super chat. Big O Kenneth Cleveland is live from the Boom Boom Room. Big O, all the ladies on the main stage are dancing to Van Halen songs. Diamond Dave is in the VIP room with Hallie, Selma, and Sophia. Raise the glass in Eddie's memory. Love it. I love it. Can I go get a dance from Hallie? I would easily use all my winnings from my NBA trip. That's
be honest, you'd give them
and
that,
more.
and you'd go into your pocket
and more, and more, and more. When it comes to Hallie, there is no limit. Let's see. John says if Trump could tell his followers crap tastes good, his people would agree. All NFL players need some kind of face covering, and every player should use hand sanitizer every time they come off the field. Victor, I doubt that's going to do any good, my brother. You know how heavy you breathe in football? Right, just on the offensive and defensive lines. How many times have you seen John Facenda narrating something, and the guys are breathing, and when it's really cold, you get to see the smoke come out of their mouths? Because that's spit that turns into smoke or ice or whatever the hell you want to call it, and it travels. And those guys are breathing on each other on the D and O lines. Are you kidding me, dude? There is no face mask that's going to save you from that.
That would be called mist.
Yeah. Mist, whatever, crap. You're breathing all of that in, dude. All of it. Okay?
Yeah, one of the most horrific visuals, it was the one when you were like, you see how all the stuff floating through the air and blah, blah, blah. And imagine us yelling and screaming at concerts. As you're opening your mouth, you got everybody else's. Dude, it was disgusting. The facts.
It's crazy, dude. Crazy stuff. Willie says, Big O, I'm adamant about the Finns sneaking in the 7th spot. Well, you know what, Willie? It's interesting that you bring that up because I think you're a lot like I am. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but I think they're going to tease us in that way because I expect the team to start winning more games as the season goes on. And they're going to get better like they did last year. I really believe that. The thing is, dude, they had a bitch of a schedule to start. And they made all these changes. And having said all that, they're still playing better than last year. They're super competitive in all these games. So they got a shot. I'm with you. I don't think 7th spot, but I am in the positive mode like you are, that I think what you're seeing like I am, that if you keep playing this way, the trajectory will be that you'll start to win more games. That's why I think, I've told you in these other games they've had a shot. In the Jags game, I told you they're going to win because that game they were primed for it because the Jags aren't as good as the other 3 teams you played. The other 3 teams were combined 10-2. You know what I mean? That's a whole different ball game now. You're playing against teams that are way better. So now we're lucky that we run into a San Francisco team that is beaten up and has got all kinds of injuries. So now they're beatable. Doesn't mean they will win, but they're beatable. It's a winnable game. And then Kansas City. I would not be shocked if the Dolphins win the next 2 games. And all of a sudden, the 1-3 is 3-3, and people are like feeling a little better about the team. The part that pisses me off a little bit is the people that are so like disgusted or insulted or shocked, or pissed off that the Dolphins are 1-3, like they're supposed to be 3-1 or something. And that's just ridiculous. They weren't supposed to beat the teams they lost to. They weren't. But the fact that they were pretty competitive overall, that's a good sign. That's all. I mean, I've talked about this many times, but I'm with you. I have a positive trajectory for the Dolphins, and just like last year, I expect them to improve as the season goes on. That's it.
So we're in the same boat like when the baseball season was starting and was like, with the 8 out of 15, just would like to see the Marlins be fighting for a playoff possibility. Just to be involved at the end, right?
this year you mean?
Yeah. And, of course, the Marlins got in.
But this
but
year,
the Dolphins,
but
like,
this
that's
year we
what we're
thought of that only because of the scenario.
Right.
Okay?
Well, the 8 out of 15, right.
It's 60 games, and they had a shot at 60 games that, okay, but if it was 162, the Marlins would have never made the playoffs.
Realistically, no.
No. I would have never expected them to make the playoffs at all, okay? Like, making the playoffs this year, I was pleasantly surprised, but I wasn't
They played
like,
over
shocked.
500, man.
But I wasn't shocked because it was a small sample size, and in the first 60 games of a season, most teams aren't really in a groove yet. So, and you're pitching and all of that. It's the next 100 where it really turns up.
Yeah, post All-Star break, right, a little past the halfway point is when.
And that's where I think the Marlins would have faded because all their young guys would have gotten tired in their arms and all that stuff because they hadn't done this. So that's why I would have looked at it differently. But, yeah, there's no doubt.
Just like that hope we had with the Marlins.
Yeah.
Just be involved week 15, 16, 17, like involved. That's it.
Yep. Big old Dolphins allowed to have full stadiums now, though. Yeah, well, I mean, if I listen, dude, if people want to pack in a stadium and you want to be dumb enough to do that, then go ahead, knock yourself out. And yes, I said dumb enough. Okay? Because if you're dumb enough to be in a crowd of hundreds of people in a section and they're all screaming, and that means when they're all screaming, guess what happens when you're screaming? You know, we're learning a lot, right? There's a lot of spit in the air, okay? So all these sporting events you've gone to, all these concerts you've gone to, okay, and everybody's singing and screaming and all that, well, they're also singing and screaming and spitting in the air. And I get it that you're in an open-air stadium, but it still can float right around you. And, you know, if you want to put yourself at risk, I don't think the Dolphins are at full go. I haven't heard that. I didn't know that, by the way. You're breaking news to me that the Dolphins can have a full stadium. But if they can, or even if they can put it at half, you'd be risking. I would not be in crowds at this point in time. I cannot do that. I think that would be way too risky. If you're in pods, that's different. Where you're separated from people, that's fine. But if you're going to be in a whole section where the section is packed and it's people all over you in front and behind and next to you, oh, man, I find that to be very, very dangerous. You know? Alex says DeSantis has allowed it. Well, DeSantis would allow anything. I mean, he's another effing clown. What can I tell you? You know? But I didn't know that about them actually being able to have full stadiums. The Redskins are going to bench Dwayne Haskins. They are starting Kyle Allen. And Kyle, remember, played for Ron Rivera in Carolina, and he played while Cam Newton was injured. So they have a familiarity. Look, this is why, you know, when people tell me, well, let's play Tua for a couple games so we know what we have and we're ready to, if we like him, we keep him, and if not, we go get Trevor Lawrence. And I'm like, well, in a couple games, you're not going to know. Well, Dwayne Haskins, they still don't know what he is. He's only played a couple games. But he's a young quarterback, and he's supposed to make a whole bunch of mistakes. And so he's going to have good moments. He's going to have bad moments. You know what I mean? That's why when you look at this situation, you're not going to ever really know a young quarterback right from the get-go. Okay? And I'm not telling you that Dwayne Haskins is going to be the second coming of anything, but I will say that in a few games, you're not going to find out everything about him. So far in 4 games, he's thrown 939 yards, 61% completion percentage, 4 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. He hasn't played, you know, terrible or anything. So now they're going to play Allen.
He's played like a beginner.
Huh?
He's played like a beginner, right?
Yeah,
and they don't have a lot of talent on that team on the offensive side of the ball. It's their defensive line, and
that's
it.
Although they got a really nice receiver. One
does not make a team, bro.
No, I know, but he's a badass. Okay,
not even a team of receivers does one make.
Yeah. Now it's weird that they're kind of benching him, because I've seen Kyle Allen play, and I don't know if there's a real upside to Kyle Allen playing. When I saw him play, I saw just a guy. Dwayne Haskins has physical tools, dude.
That kid in Ohio State, bro. Wow.
No, I mean, you watch him. He's a big kid. He's got a big arm. I know hasn't played great. Okay? You think about it, as many games as he's played, only 4 touchdowns is not a lot. So I understand that, but still, man.
What is it with coaches in the familiarity with a player? You know what I mean? They'd rather get beaten with the guy they know than the guy that's the new guy, right?
I guess.
You see it all the time.
Or there must be some limitations in his game right now that maybe they want to do more in the playbook and he's not getting a grip of it. I have no idea. But there you go. He's getting benched. In New York, also, they're benching Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold returned to last Thursday's loss to the Broncos after injuring his right shoulder. So now he's not going to play against the Cardinals this week. He is going to the bench. Jets head coach Adam Gase said on Wednesday that Joe Flacco will get the start at quarterback when the NFC West comes calling on Sunday. Darnold said on Monday that he was feeling better after suffering what's been called an AC joint sprain. He will not practice Wednesday, and Gase called him week to week moving forward. Flacco now will end up getting the start. So this kid gets benched because of the shoulder injury. It's Adam Gase. It's awesome. It's just awesome. It's almost like I wish we also had the first-round pick from the Jets, too. Not just the Texans, but the Jets, too. And I'm afraid now that the Texans will play better now that they got rid of their coach. I got to tell you, that one makes me kind of nervous. But Sam Darnold, kid's been seeing ghosts. He's got to deal with Gase. Now he's got a shoulder injury, so he'll be on the bench now, and he'll be watching Joe Flacco play.
Most everybody has the Jets and Giants running neck and neck for what's going to be the number 1 spot, right?
Yeah.
Those are the two projected, Lawrence, I guess, champions.
Those are your two best targets to be the number 1 pick in the draft. Those two guys right there. I mean, those two teams are so bad that they will have a chance at that. Hey, when are you going with another interview with the Jets beat reporter? I was listening to him talk crap about Gase. Oh, you mean Manish Mehta? I'll get Manish on, man, and we'll have a little fun with him. I mean, I don't want to bother the guy all the time. I know Manish well, and it's okay. I'll get him on, and let's see, maybe next week. After this week's loss, next week. Okay, we'll do that. Let's do this. Well, it's 1:15. You know what? We'll go to the bottom of the hour. Then we'll do a
onward.
Yeah. We'll do a little break at the bottom.
You're at 40 right now for this segment, sir.
It's 1:15. I figured. So we'll break at the bottom of the hour. VSS West Pines, a proud sponsor. We're out here, folks, and come on by at 12397 Pembroke Road. Tell them that Big O sent you. Don't forget that EJD Construction is a proud sponsor of our program. Custom home builder, additions, and home remodeling. Maybe you want to redo that man cave, the kitchen. You want to expand the home. Maybe you want to redo the backyard, right? You want to create some kind of a hangout area. You can do that, of course, with the guys at EJD Construction. Call Eric and tell him that I sent you. 305-433-4843. 16 years of experience here in South Florida. They've been dominating in Dade and Broward County. And listen, they are an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. go to their Instagram account. You can see the before and after at EJD_construction and call them 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJD Construction. Tyler Hero. He might be in a little bit of hot water. I don't know if you guys know about this, but Tyler Hero, you know he's got Katya Elise, right? That's his girlfriend, who is fine as hell. We all know that. Well, Tyler Hero now has been busted. Why? Hero was caught going into the DMs of another IG model. Her name is Brooke Weiss, okay? And Brooke Weiss, by the way, is very, very talented. Let me see if I can show you a Brooke Weiss picture here. For those of you that are watching on video, there you go. Brooke Weiss. Okay? Very talented girl. So, she tweets out and she puts, as you can see there, the tweet, okay? She puts Tyler Heroes in her DMs and says, "You can have Katya and still not be loyal. Laughing my effing ass off." Now, there is some word that there might be some, let's say, disconnect between Katya and Tyler. Apparently, Katya could also be cheating on Tyler. So I don't know if that's the case or not. But Katya Elise and Tyler, it was said on Twitter that Katya Elise Henry was cheating on Tyler Hero with his homie. But it seems that the 20-year-old himself is also cheating as he went into Brooke L. Weiss's IG. So Katya or Brooke, which one you and he's got a type.
Either.
But he's got a type.
There's no losing here.
Yeah,
okay?
He's got a type because you look at Katya Elise and you look at that backside, right? So my man likes his booties. And then you look at Brooke, she got that backside too. See? He likes his bootay, man.
You know what I'm thinking? It's a free-for-all.
Yes, it is. As Ted Nugent would say, it's a free-for-all. So my man Tyler.
What a really bad problem for Tyler Hero.
I know, right?
You know? This is horrible.
I tell you, Tyler Hero going after IG models. You know where his money's going when he gets a new contract. Oh, Lordy.
Don't forget to make it look like a bank robber, dude.
Oh, man. James says, Tyler, you dog. Oh, I love it. Miami Kid J says, Hero has to pull the account. Got hacked right away. Yeah, exactly, right? That'll be the excuse. Oh, no, my account got hacked. I didn't do that. That wasn't me. I love it.
And can Katya get in trouble because she has all these followers? Like, isn't part of her deal to engage with them in some capacity, right?
I don't know if she engages with them. She just posts pictures and let them,
let them do
like
their thing.
it and post and say, hey, you're beautiful. Hey, can I go out with you or whatever? I got more money than Tyler. I've got more of this than Tyler. Whatever. I'm sure I'm sure Katya, her DMs are freaking loaded with guys hitting on her. And all these women, and probably in their DMs, all they got.
Sending a bank statement.
No, penis pics is what they got all over. You know what I mean? That's usually what these women get. They get a ton of penis pics. That's it.
So they can make a penis collage for their living room wall?
Crazy stuff, dude. Did you see, now, you like golfing, right? You like going out to the golf course, right?
For sure.
So a guy went out to a golf course in Colorado, at Evergreen, Colorado. And so apparently at this golf course, they have a lot of elk that walk around. Okay? So a Colorado golfer almost died on the 17th hole of a course on Saturday after an elk rammed the man's cart and gored him straight through his back with its horn. Story is insane. Megan Bornhort says her husband Zach was finishing up a round at Evergreen in Colorado with his buds when disaster struck around 6:30 p.m. Megan says an elk charged Zach's golf cart and speared the man in the right side of the lower back with its horns. Megan says Zach was rushed to the hospital. After doctors checked him out, they found some horrific injuries. His kidney was cut into 2 pieces. To make matters worse, because of the dirt and bacteria on the elk's horns, Megan says the doctors were deeply concerned about possible infection. Fortunately, Megan claims her hubby, despite being in a hell of a lot of pain, is expected to make a full recovery. The urologist thinks the kidney will be able to repair itself, Megan says, before adding, he continues to be in tremendous amount of pain, but is handling like a true Zach fashion, dry humor. For his part, Zach said of his injuries, I'm in a little bit of a rough spot, but I'm going to get through it. As for the golf course, they issued a statement on Monday warning golfers to avoid elk on the course at all costs. Right now, while the fall rut or mating season is going on, the elk tend to be more aggressive, course officials said. Proceed with caution when around the animals and never approach any elk. So if you watch the story, problem is people are golfing and then they go and try to get as close as possible to the elk and take pictures. And so they're telling you to stay away from the damn elk. Now, this man was not next to the elk. The elk came at him. But here's my problem with all of this, because apparently this is like a really beautiful golf course. Either you control the elk and keep them out of the course, or how about not golfing there? I mean, seriously, dude. If I go out to a golf course and I want to just go have fun and spray the ball around, because that's what I do. I don't golf. I spray the ball around. And I'm there really to just have a couple of beers and smoke a cigar and make jokes. That's all I'm really there for.
Connect with nature a little bit.
Right. By peeing in the trees. Yes, no doubt. But my point is, when I'm going there to relax and chill out and have a good time. I'm not going there to be a paranoid sumbitch worried about an elk sticking an antler right in the middle of my kidneys. I mean, think about that, bro. That thing went through the seat and through your body. I mean, that's nasty, bro. And those elks are big, bro. They're ginormous and powerful. Get the hell out of here, bro. You think I want to... I'm a bad enough golfer as it is. Why do I need the pressure of, watch out, there comes an elk? You know, forget about it, dude. Be the worst. Is that the kind of course you want to play at, Bill?
That would be a negative.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to golf. What I do, go to golf, it's to get away from concrete, steel, man-made. You know, you get to a point on the golf course where, you know, maybe there's the golf path and that's it, but everything else is grass and trees.
Yeah.
And obviously being in Miami, you don't get a lot of that.
No.
So on the golf course, like there's the corner, the little turnaround, whatever, wherever it's at on the golf course, and you just see grass and trees. It's awesome. That's what I like about it.
Yep.
And yeah, here comes something out of the bush, going to stab you. You know, no, that doesn't sound like a fun day to me.
No, definitely not, dude. Definitely not. Did you guys catch Aaron Rodgers? He was on the Pat McAfee show, and Pat now is over on Sirius Mad Dog, actually. He's on every day there, which I am shocked, actually, because they were kind of, you know, I've worked at Sirius Mad Dog for a few years now. I'm still under contract with them. I just don't have time to do any shows now. So he has on Aaron Rodgers every week on his show for a segment. And Rodgers was on, and they were talking about how people thought he was kind of almost toast last year, and then the drafting of Love and all of that. And so Rodgers was talking about his status, where he's at right now, where people thought he was. So here's Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show. Go ahead, Bill.
Every team is different. Every year is different. And, circumstances in any year which allow you to have more success or make it more difficult for success. Just kind of depends on the situation. It does help being the second year, for sure. I feel a lot more comfortable. But, I sometimes laugh when people talk about, down years for me, because a lot of times down years for me are career years for most quarterbacks.
That was awesome. I am so happy you said that. Oh my God, that's just like that is.
Yeah, drop it down.
That was awesome. Good for you, dude.
Hey, it's just the facts, bro.
Hey,
that's it. Those are the facts. Listen, you can say whatever you want about Rodgers. He sucks in relationships. He doesn't get along with his family. Anybody that's talking about like him being done, let me just walk you through this. Okay? Last year he threw for 4,000 yards. He threw 26 touchdowns and 4 interceptions.
That's a disgusting ratio, bro.
That's like it's an off year.
6 to 1.
4,400 yards the year before that, 25 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And then the year he got injured, only played 7 games, only threw for 1,675 yards, threw 16 touchdowns, and threw 6 interceptions that year. That's like really bad. That's an off year right there, okay? Injuries and all that. The year before that, he threw for 4,400 yards, 40 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Before that, 3,800 yards, 31 and 8. 4,300, 38 and 5. In 2013, he only played 9 games because of injury. 25, 36, 17 and 6. On the injury years is where he doesn't play well. And okay, it's an injury year. Before that, which is 2012, 4,300 yards, 39 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. 2011, 4,600 yards, 45 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. I mean, he doesn't have off years, bro. He doesn't have off years. He just has great years. The 2 injury years. Okay, well, whatever, bro. Those are injury years. Is what it is. But, I mean, come on. The guy is, his lifetime and his percentage, his completion percentage, it's up to 70% this year. Okay, so far he's got 1,200 yards, 13 touchdowns, no interceptions so far. But the completion percentage, 62, 62, 64, 65, 60, 65, 66, 67, 68, 65, 64, 63. That's been his career. Now, he hasn't been at a great percentage the last 2 years because he was at 62. You want your elite quarterback should be at 65 and up. That's usually right around the number. He's at 70 this year. Second year in the system, too, with the new guy. So that's why maybe it went up from 62 to 70 right now. But I got it. What he did say was 1,000% right. Hard to argue it.
It's the only guy I hate, man, as a player, like being a Bear fan. Dolphin fans, we hate, a lot of them hate Brady. I've beaten Brady. I don't hate Brady. Dude, Aaron Rodgers is beating the Bears 22 out of 25, 20. Like, we've only beat him 3 or 4 times out of 20-something games. Like, he owns them.
Yeah.
It's the guy's a beast. There's no other way of putting it.
Finn CEO Tom Garfinkel states they're willing to allow 65,000 at Hard Rock right now with positivity rates where they are. We feel we can keep people safe and a socially distanced at capacity at 13,000. At 13,000, yes, they can do it. At 65, they will not. That's not true.
What 13 is what, 20%, I think it is, or 15, right? It's in that realm.
Yeah, that's where they had 13.
Yeah.
13s are 20%.
That's safe. You could be safe there, you know?
Matthew says male elks are averaging 8 feet tall and weighing over 700 pounds. And can you imagine the strength those things have? Yeah, Crazy stuff. I mean, personally, I think you're a nutbag if you go to a packed stadium now. You've got to be crazy right now with the way COVID is. It's not like we're out of the woods. Let me see, what was the numbers yesterday? We still have a load of people dying, a load of people getting sick. We are nowhere near out of the woods or it disappearing or anything like that. Like one guy thought it was just going to simply disappear. Here we go. Let me give you the numbers from yesterday. Give you the numbers yesterday here. Already 338 today, but let me see yesterday. Yesterday, 790. I mean, it's 43,660 cases yesterday. Again, we're not anywhere near like out of the woods or anything like that. In Florida yesterday, we had 2,251 cases, 69 die. We were third. Texas was number one with 100, and California had 84. But cases are spiking all over now in different parts of the country. That's what's changed.
All those places that weren't even registering double digits.
Right. Wisconsin
are all now in the hundreds.
Yeah, Wisconsin is like those kind of places. They had 2,000 cases. Missouri, 3,000. Yeah, it's on the rise now in certain parts of the country.
It's seeping to areas where it hasn't been.
Right.
Meaning, in other words, it's not slowing down.
No.
Because it wouldn't get there. This thing is still traveling.
Yep. Yeah. That's why they got to be careful, man. New Jersey still has kept their numbers down, only 607 dead yesterday. New York had 12 dead, but had 1,400 cases. So they started to go up a little bit, too. And that's as you start opening and people have access to each other, that's what happens, man. That's what happens. Crazy stuff, man. All right, 786-322-1105. We're at the bottom of the hour. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. VSS West Pines. Come on by, 12397 Pembroke Road. 20% off. 20% off. Out here. So come on by. Get your THC. Get your CBD. Get a hookah pipe. Get a water pipe. Whatever, man. Plenty of stuff out here at VSS West Pines. Quick break. Back in 2 minutes.
America's premium sport compact sedan is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. 2020 ILX, $199 a month, $199. And Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Hey, it's Big O. For all of your family dental needs, please reach out to Moody's Dental. I've known Eric for a while, a big fan of our show. Call him at 305-821-0231. Whether it's you or your kids that need some dental help, whether it's implants, Invisaligns, they are the experts. Or if you're just looking to fill a cavity or clean your teeth or maybe even get a crown, you are going to love the professionalism, the family-like atmosphere. And of course, when you talk about being clean, that's what it's all about in today's society. You are going to go to an extremely clean place. Go to moodyusdental.com, go to the website, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Moody's Dental. Tell them that Big O sent you. 305-821-0231 or go to moodyusdental.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to peer, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Hey, it's Big O. For all of your CBD, THC, or hookah needs, you got to get on down to VSS West Pines at 12397 Pembroke Road. Yes, they have got legal THC. You've got to check it out. And they've got, of course, when it comes to CBD, flower, tinctures, edibles, for all kinds of reasons, whether it's pain, stress, anxiety, you name it. And don't forget, when you mention my name, you'll get 20% 10% off. Tell the boys out there that I told you to get on down to VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road, and call them 954-613-3367. Legal THC, CBD, all of your hookah needs. You go to VSS West Pines.
All right. All right, we are back, as always, here at VSS West Pines. Let's do a little Dolphins talk. Today, Brian Flores addressed the media. Let's listen to his comments, and obviously we will react to his comments. We'll do that as it goes on. Go ahead. Fire off Flo this morning.
Good morning, Coach. I was wondering your thinking on staying with Ryan Fitzpatrick as your starter in Week 5.
I would feel like he gives us the best chance to win. And, after I think he's, had some rough moments like some other players, but we felt like he gives us the best chance to win.
All right, Adam again.
I wanted to get some clarity on one thing about Tua. You've said time and again that he's checked all the boxes, and you obviously feel.
You froze there, Adam. Anybody else? Anybody on one who's
enough to put him into a game?
Adam, you froze. So can you just can you say that again? I didn't hear.
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I just wanted to get your thinking on the difference between Tua as a backup with his health and Tua as a starter, because you mentioned, you obviously don't want to rush him back, don't want to feel pressured to put him into a position where he has to play, where he must play. In your mind, what's the threshold for him? It's okay for him to be a backup, but maybe not quite be a starter yet.
I guess I'm struggling with the question. What's the threshold? Well, he's a backup.
Sure.
So look, he could go in on any snap. So obviously we're confident he can play, just like any backup player. We're confident any player who's, has a backup role to play in the game. So I guess, we're confident, from a standpoint that on any snap he could go in there. So, as far as, him being a starter, we just don't feel like he's ready there just yet. So that's kind of, where we're at with, him and, other players or some other rookies who just aren't ready to kind of take that step just yet. So, but he's doing all the right things. Right now we feel like Fitz gives us the best chance to win. I would say overall Fitz has played, pretty well. He's had some rough patches like I said earlier, like some other players, but, we do feel like he gives us the best chance to win.
Safin?
Hey, Coach, just a logistics question. Are you guys going to fly out Friday or Saturday? And I did want to ask about the San Fran QB situation. Not sure if Garoppolo is going to return to practice, but Nick Mullins and CJ Beathard are probably two other guys you're going to have to prepare for. What's it going to be like preparing for maybe three quarterbacks instead of one or two?
Well, yeah, we're going to fly out Friday. As far as the quarterbacks, all three of them are good players. So look, there's film on all of them. We're pretty much going to have to watch them all. I think we've done that as a staff already, and we're going through that with the players already this morning. All three good players, but I wouldn't say it's just the quarterback. It's it's everyone on offense. Obviously, the O line, the tight ends, they got good backs, they got good receivers. So, and they got a good scheme. So, the quarterback's just one part of that, and but we're really preparing for the entire group. It's a good group.
Joe?
Good morning, Flo.
Good Joe.
Two-part question, but they're completely related. They're not separate. The first, how long was the discussion regarding a potential change of quarterback on Monday night? And then in a related question, how long is Fitz's rope at this point in the season?
Well, look, any discussions we have as a staff, they're just going to remain internal. As far as, I don't even want to use the term, but look, we expect Fitz to play well. We expect everyone, offensively, defensively, in the kicking game to play well. We're not, putting negative energy into the atmosphere. So we just got to prepare well this week, practice well this week, fly out to California, and try to win a football game against a good group, a very good group, actually.
All right, so this is really good on Joe Shad's part because he asked how long was the discussion about the quarterback and how long is his rope. And so the coach wasn't going to ever answer the rope on any player ever. He's not going to come out and say, well, let me tell you something, guys. If that cornerback allows 2 completed passes, his ass is going to the bench. If that quarterback throws an interception, his ass is going to the bench. If that linebacker misses 2 tackles, he's going to the bench. Not going to happen, okay? But I love that Joe asked because you just never know. What the hell? But by him saying that whatever discussions we have are going to be internal, he never denied and never said to Joe, well, who said we had quarterback discussions about a change or anything? So that means that the discussion has already happened, okay? And I figured that Fitz was going to start anyways. I was pretty much 1,000% sure they weren't going to make a quarterback change because I don't think they're ready to make a quarterback change because it's not Fitz's fault. Now, if this continues where it's not necessarily Fitz's fault, but you're not producing points, then you're going to make a change. And I think the next 2 weeks, because these are back-to-back trips to the West Coast, I don't think they're going to put Tua in that position. But if you look at the schedule after that, I could actually see Miami, if it continues. Now, I'm talking about you losing these 2 games, which then puts you obviously at a huge disadvantage if you lose these games. Now, all of a sudden, you put yourself in a position that you start to think about, okay, well, we need to kickstart the offense. We need to get it going. Now, remember, they scored 28 points against Buffalo. Then they scored 31 points against Jacksonville. And Buffalo's got a pretty good defense. So you are talking about pretty good production the last 2 weeks prior to the 23-point performance and all the field goals against Seattle. Now you play San Francisco, a depleted San Francisco. You play an okay Denver team because they got a decent defense, but their offense isn't anything. So now you've got 2 winnable games. How do you run the offense now during those 2 games? Do you take advantage of your red zone opportunities, and do you win? I think he'll be judged over the next 2 weeks that if you drop to 1-5, I think there could be a change for that Chargers game or the Rams game. But if you start winning those games, it puts him on ice. Okay? And when you get into the Los Angeles games, we're now at the back end of October and starting in November. So now we're creeping up to the 1 year because it's in a little bit in the middle or later November when he had the surgery. So I think it starts to get into that area. And if you had a conversation, then that means you're concerned about the production on offense, you're concerned about losing, and you want to win. You're not there to tank. You were never there to tank last year. You're not tanking now. But good job by Joe just to kind of, at least bring up the scenario, and it was never downplayed by the coach. Go ahead, Bill.
Barry?
Hi, Brian. I know one thing you suggested Monday was maybe at the quarter mark of the season now you take a look at playing time allocation. Did you emerge from that conversation with your assistants thinking that there would be some changes at some positions? And also want to ask you about now that the NFL has made basically a 6-day turnaround to get a player in the building for a tryout and sign him, does that make you and Chris less likely to bring in outside guys for looks?
So the less likely, yeah. I mean, it's hard to bring someone in. With the 6 days, Barry, you throw like 4 or 5 at me right at once. So let me try to. I'm trying to backtrack here. So yeah, it's harder to get somebody in, obviously. So we've already kind of gone through the thought and planning. If we're going to do something, it really is for next week, and I think every team's kind of going through that same process. As far as, the meetings with the coaches from a playing time standpoint, and look, we're, like every team, we want to play our best players, our most dependable players. We talked about, situations where we want to play different guys, and, maybe when we want to play some guys more, play some guys less. And we're going to try to, probably practice that way today and this week, and then, see how things shake throughout the course of the week. But we always want to get our best guys out there, our best group of guys, our most dependable players. I think that's everything, Barry.
Go to Hal.
Hi, Brian. I have only one question for you. It's regarding Preston Williams. Obviously, he looked so good last year, was on pace to set team records for rookie receivers. How does that compare to how he looks this year? I think he's at roughly 20 yards per game in receiving. How close is he to the Preston Williams we saw last year?
Well, I think, coming off an injury, it's, you never know how things are going to shake out. I think he's doing well from a physical standpoint. Look, Preston's a hardworking kid. He's obviously talented. Look, I think he's there physically. We just got to, find different ways to get him the ball, and he's got to come through for us when we do throw him the ball. So again, we're 4 weeks into the season. That's something that was discussed, a part of the discussion with the coaching staff, how to get him more involved, and hopefully we do that in the coming weeks.
Omar?
I want to get a clarification on Austin Jackson's status and his practice participation. Also, if you can assess how Julian Davenport played in his role last week, and if your stance is to still start the best 5 guys, figuring out the combination, however it works.
Yeah, well, I thought Julian played well last week when he went in there for Austin. I thought he played well. I thought he did a really good job. Austin, as far as practice, he won't be out there today. Hopefully he's still kind of working through some things, but hopefully, tomorrow or hopefully tomorrow we'll see. So just from that standpoint, you won't see him today, but Julian played well. Yes, we'll always try to play the 5 best guys. So, obviously Julian will be part of that. Rob Hunt will be part of that conversation. So, again, we'll see how this goes throughout the practice week, and we'll take it from there.
Cam?
Hey, good morning, Flo. You mentioned earlier about Tua and not being ready yet to be the starter. I wanted to ask, how do you think he can get there with mental reps? Is that something he can do there, or do you have to see him on the field before he's truly ready?
I think he's got to keep doing what he's doing. I think he's in here every day. He's working. He's practicing well. And, I think he just continues to do what he's been doing. He's learning every day. He's getting better and improving every day. And if he just continues to do what he's doing, he's on the right path, on the right trajectory. So again, like we're not going to get an opportunity. We didn't have any preseason games. That's not going to happen. As far as getting a different look at this. So for him, the only thing he can do is come in, do a good job in meetings, do a good job in the walkthroughs, do a good job in practice, and then when his opportunity presents itself, which as the backup could be at any point, in the game. I think the 49ers are a great example of that, having played 3 guys already. Then he's just got to be ready. So that's really it.
Joe?
I wanted to ask you about Matt Breida. He made a couple of plays in the passing game last week. I was wondering what stood out to you about Breida and how you think he's coming along.
Yeah, I think he made some good plays the other day. Look, he's an explosive kid, fast. He's practiced well. Getting a few more touches. So I think he's playing well, and hopefully he continues to play well. He's a hardworking guy, and it's important to him. So I think he's doing a good job.
Sofin?
Just wanted to get back to Tua and ask, could him getting any kind of limited snaps during a game, kind of help towards his progression to becoming the starter?
Potentially that could help, but there's a lot of other things to that. How the game's going, rhythm of the offense. I mean, there's so many things pertaining to the team that you don't want to do something for one specific person. I guess I wouldn't be in favor of something like that. But I understand the question.
All right, we got time for one more. We'll go to Omar.
I love that I get the last question always. Clarify something for me. Would you be comfortable playing Jesse Davis at left tackle to get Robert Hunt snaps at right tackle, or can Robert play left tackle?
Robert can play left tackle. I would be comfortable playing Jesse at left tackle. I'm also comfortable playing Julian at left tackle. So look, let's just see how the week goes. Thankfully we've got some guys that we feel good about going in and playing left, right. I think all those guys have played both positions. So but at the same time, look, we're going up against a very aggressive defensive line and a very, very, very good defense. So this will be a tough challenge, and but we'll see how this goes over the course of the week. I'm not saying Austin's out of the question either. So let's just take it one day at a time. But yeah, I'm comfortable with all those guys playing really left or right. They're all I think Steve will do a good job of getting them ready, and but we're gonna need to play well from an O-line and really a team standpoint against this team. They're very good.
There is the head coach of your Miami Dolphins, Brian Flores, and obviously the Tua thing is in there, and we have the armed ape there on the chat board, and I had to rip him a little bit of a new one on the text line. Armed Ape, let me educate you a little bit here, because for those of you that are not on the chat board and you're downloading the show, Armed Ape sends in a text, says, going to throw this out there. Herbert was dropping dimes on the Bucs all the way until he finally made the obligatory rookie mistake at the end. We need to see Tua to know if we blew it. See, the problem, Armed Ape, with that stupid-ass statement is that you don't find out about a quarterback because he plays a couple games. So I sent him back a text. Did you know anything about Drew Brees the first 3 years? Because he threw 16 touchdowns and 31 interceptions, and he sucked. So for 3 years, you thought he was a bust. Now he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Let me ask you something, Armed Ape. the first 2 years of Carson Wentz and the Carson Wentz you're seeing now. So early on, you thought you had a winner with Carson Wentz because everything was going well. But you didn't know about all the injuries and everything else that would happen after. And look how he's playing now. He's playing like shit. Please don't tell me that I need to get a couple games in to know if we hit or miss on a guy. You won't know. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you get Barry Sanders, and you know what you got right from the get-go. Okay? Sometimes you'll get Jameis Winston, and you know what you got right from the get-go, a ton of interceptions. But there's a lot of times that how many people were calling Mike Gesicki a bust after his first year? All those people, they're all hiding now. None of them ever show up anymore. So Armed Ape, especially quarterback, okay? You will not know about a quarterback just because he plays a couple of games. It's not just Armed Ape. There's a bunch of you with that stupid-ass thought that, no, we got to hurry up and get a couple games in there so we know. Because if he doesn't play well, then we've got to go get Trevor Lawrence. That's not true. He may not play well, and he'll play well next year. He might kill it in a short window, and then next year struggle because they got tape on him now. And then he's got to adjust. There is no way of predicting what a quarterback's going to be just because he plays a couple of games. It might be phenomenal, and you think you got Carson Wentz, and then all of a sudden now, look what happened to Carson Wentz. He's a shell of himself now. Maybe the kid will find himself again and get back in a groove, but if you watch Carson Wentz now, it's not the same guy that you saw the first 2 years where he came out of North Dakota State balling. Okay? I mean, come on, man. It's just, it's stupidity. It's desperation. And because of that, this is why you make irrational statements. This is why you don't bring logic to it. And you bring something so desperate, oh, no, I got to watch a couple of games. So I know whether he's a hit or a miss.
You know somebody else I'm thinking? Ask Detroit Lions about Scott Mitchell.
In Spanish, we like to say, que clase come mierdería. Okay? That's what we like to say to people like that. Que clase come mierdería. All right? So, Armed Ape, if you know Spanish, que clase come mierdería tú estás. Eso lo tuyo, papa. Wow. You know, it's just... It's ridiculous, bro. Dwayne Haskins is getting benched now. That doesn't mean he sucks, dude. I'm not a Dwayne Haskins guy. I wasn't on his bandwagon, but I'm not going to say that I'm right or anything about the guy. He's a baby. He's played a couple games in the NFL. Did you watch John Elway? Because, bro, he threw 4,000 interceptions his first year. Did you watch Peyton Manning? Oh, let me, for those of you who are too young, right? Peyton Manning. Here we go. You ready? He can't beat Florida. That was like the slogan. Peyton Manning's getting drafted. Oh, yeah, but he can't beat Florida. So just because of that, Peyton was a choker. Peyton's not going to be as good. Peyton's overrated. Then he throws 25 interceptions his rookie year. By that point, people are thinking, well, he's a choker and can't beat Florida and throws 25 interceptions. So then what happened after to his career? Oh, I'm sorry. He went to the Hall of Fame and won 2 Super Bowls. Okay. I mean, come on, bro. Terry Bradshaw. Let me look it up. I am sure he sucked early on. Okay? Armed Ape.
Didn't he get to start and he got benched,
I'm telling you guys from now in Carson Wentz, and I can go all the way back to Drew Brees, because Armed Ape, I have something that you don't, age and perspective, okay? Let me bring up Bradshaw here because I'm pretty sure Terry Bradshaw sucked ass early on. 1970, Terry Bradshaw's first year, armed ape, 6 touchdowns, 24 interceptions. Let me repeat that again. Terry Bradshaw, 4 Super Bowls, 4 Super Bowl rings, clutch player, all right, all that. First year, 6 touchdowns, 24 interceptions. So you still need to see him early? You still think you're going to know Tua in the first couple games? Huh? Second year, 13 touchdowns, 22 interceptions. Third year, 12 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Fourth year, 10 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Fifth year, 7 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. His 6th year, he became a quarterback. 18-9, then 10-9, then 17, 19, 28, 20, 26, 25, 24, 22, 22, 14, 17, 11. Not great stats that are like, but they got better. But his first few years, he was terrible, bro. Terrible. But everybody wants some. I want some too. Hi. I'm sorry, it's on here in the hey, come on, bro. I'm going to find out about a guy the first couple of games. We need to get him in there because we'll know that Tua is the real deal or not. Just like you knew Mike Gesicki could play after the first year. People thought for sure Mike Gesicki couldn't play. They were done with him. It's over. Some of you out there, I think you do it on purpose.
You know what? I'm willing to bet that there are a couple people because they like seeing you get all upset, man.
Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah.
It's stimulating for them.
Yeah. Oh, and Bill, just finishing up here in the Pensacola Plasma Center and Oil Change Strip Bar. Cannot wait for Bill's dance to Boy George when you get to 5K. Subscribers, do you really want to hurt me? Francisco says, people say there's problems with the offense and want Tua. How about the running game attack gets right? That would solve a lot. I want Tua in a better situation. So do I. I want to see Tua too, man. But at this moment, I'm all right with waiting a little bit more. Hey, man, I've waited for the Dolphins to be great for 40 years now. Okay? I can wait a couple more weeks till things get balanced out. I don't need to throw Tua in a really difficult situation because it's what I've told you guys in the past. The people that are dying to throw Tua in there, they're also going to make him a savior. And if you think one person's going to elevate everybody else around him, then you're wrong, bro. You're wrong. It's not going to happen that way. They can elevate some people, but you're not going to elevate an entire offense, an entire team right now. They're not good enough. Arm Dave goes, I'm the exact same age as you. I've been listening to you for as long as you've been on radio. All right, well then, my brother, you need to listen a little bit harder and pick up an education. Okay? Because you don't know jack about a quarterback playing him for a couple games. Okay? That was your statement, and that was wrong, just like everybody else. And you're not the only one. You're just like the tipping point at this point. I am tired of hearing that already. Oh, no, we got to get him in there to know what we have. You're not going to know what you have. So if you're my age and you have perspective, shame on you, sir. Shame on you. Did you know anything about Steve Young in Tampa Bay? Okay? Come on.
As you guys can see, you people talking about this Tua thing, you're wearing out on this.
It's just like, come on, bro. I mean, it's sometimes when the situation's not good, again, Steve Young, you'll look like Steve Young in Tampa Bay. Go look at Steve Young in Tampa Bay, and then go look at Steve Young in San Francisco, and you're going to go, what's the difference? Well, there's a Jerry Rice, there's a Bill Walsh, there's a Taylor, there's a Roger Craig, there's, you know. It's a different ball game, bro. Orlando, you deserve 2 or 3 Presidente beers after the show today. Well, I got another show, too. I got to go do the Inter Miami broadcast tonight. The beers will be after when I get home. Okay? RM Dave goes, I knew about Marino the first second I saw him. Didn't you? Yeah, bro, but those are the freaks of all freaks. Those guys are few and far between.
For every one of those, there's 100, 50, 60, you know, whatever. Pick a number, really high number.
Yeah, it's just
that are the other way.
Yes, most quarterbacks are they take a little bit to develop, man. They don't do it like right away. That Marino stuff or anybody, you can think of many positions. But if I tell you Marino, then I can tell you John Elway, and I can tell you Terry Bradshaw, and I can tell you several other quarterbacks that did not. Warren Moon's career was so bad at the beginning, he had to go to the CFL. So for every Marino, there's an Elway, there's a Peyton Manning that sucked, there's a Warren Moon that had to go to the CFL, there's a Terry Bradshaw. The Marinos are few and far between. Yeah. What can I tell you, man? Anyway. All right, 786-322-1105. If you want to get in, 786-322-1105. What else do we have here on the text line? Tampa Bay had some good QBs back when they were bad. The key was getting them out of Tampa Bay. I can't argue with that one. That's a good one. Alex Diaz says, MTV Classic is playing all of the Van Halen classics, and one of my other favorites, Jump, came on, man. Can't get enough of that song. I am not ready to throw out all of Fitz yet. I still think Fitz gives us the best chance to win with this team. Is young and improving week by week. Let's have some patience. I agree. Gus says Channel 4 Nashville confirms that a group of about 15 Titans players held a workout at Montgomery Bell Academy last Wednesday, one day after the team's facility was shut down by 8 positive COVIDs. I tell you, man, NFL players, I guess not the brightest bulbs in the chandelier. That's kind of dumb. There's a COVID outbreak, but let's go have our own practice and spread it on our own. That's awesome. That's just absolutely awesome. Let me give you a little love here on the music side. Let's start off today, 1945, with Kevin Godley. He is the drummer and vocalist for 10cc. I'm not in love. You know that song. Number 1 in the U.S. Number 1 in the UK, number 2 in the U.S. They also had 10 other UK top 30 hits. And let's see, Kevin Godley also was born on this date in 1945, so happy birthday to him. In 1949, David Hope was born on this date, American rock band Kansas. He was with Kansas, and their hit single back in 78, Carry On Wayward Son, second most played track on U.S. classic rock radio in 95 and number 1 in 97. Crazy stuff there. In 1951, John Cougar Mellencamp was born, the American singer-songwriter, and has been nominated for 13 Grammy Awards in his career. In 1953, Tico Torres was born on this date. He's the drummer for Bon Jovi. Let's see. Slippery When Wet, by the way, has sold over 8 million copies worldwide. I thought it would be more for that album. In 1967, the woman that never, ever ages and still looks incredibly great and fine. Toni Braxton was born on this date back in 1967, and you can unbreak her heart. In 1968, Tom York was born on this date. Vocalist, guitarist, and keyboardist for Radiohead. 93 debut single, Creep. I remember I had a salesperson that at Sound Advice, when I worked at Sound Advice years ago, like 30 years ago, they would start their day off in the morning with Creep from Radiohead. I remember that. Crazy stuff. Almost 30 years ago. 20-something almost. Anyway, so that is some of the birthdays. Let's go with 1967 events on this date. The Beatles. The Beatles rejected an offer of $1 million from promoter Sid Bernstein to make a second appearance at New York's Shea Stadium. Bernstein had originally brought the group to Shea in August of '65. Sid Bernstein had actually successfully contracted the Beatles to play Shea Stadium in both '65 and '66. Think about it, $1 million in those days. That was a lot of freaking money. In 1967, on this date, Mama Cass Elliot from the Mamas and the Papas spent the night in a London jail after being accused of stealing from a hotel. A TV and concert appearance had to be canceled. You just don't expect that from Mama Cass Elliot. You know what I mean? Maybe she'll steal a sandwich, but what the hell was she stealing from a hotel?
You know where she hid it? She hid the TV under her muumuu.
She had a lot of space there. In 1968, Jose Feliciano, listen to this. Listen to what things were in 1968. He performed a controversial version of the Star-Spangled Banner before the 5th game of the World Series between the Tigers and the Cardinals. As a result of his slow, bluesy delivery, many radio stations refused to play his song, and his career suffered. Can you believe that? Because he changed up the version of the Star-Spangled Banner. If that's the case, then the Black Eyed Peas would never sell a record again, because Fergie's, anthem was like one of the worst ever.
What would they have done to Marvin Gaye?
Oh, my Lord.
And that is one of the best renditions of it.
Yep. No, you're right. You're right. By the way, on this date, it wasn't part of it, but Marvin Gaye on this date, he filed twice for bankruptcy papers earlier in the year with debts of $7 million in 1978. That's a lot of money. All right, anyways, in 82, Led Zeppelin's Jimmy Page was given a 12-month conditional discharge after being found guilty of possession of cocaine. In 1989, Paula Abdul on this day went to #1 on the U.S. album charts with Forever Your Girl. It spent 64 consecutive weeks on the Billboard 200 before hitting #1, making it the longest time for an album to reach the #1 spot. That's pretty amazing. It was 64 weeks on the charts before it got to #1. That's frustrating, too, for Paula, I would imagine, but she got to #1. That's awesome. In 95 on this date, Alanis Morissette went to #1 on the U.S. album charts with her third album, Jagged Little Pill, which is still to this date one of the great albums, man. Especially of the 95 in the last 25 years, that's one of the better albums out there. That is a great, great album. Obviously, 6 successful singles. You Ought to Know, Ironic, You Learn, Hand in My Pocket, and Head Over Feet went on to become the biggest selling album ever by a female artist with sales over 30 million. I never knew that nugget until I read it this morning, that it was the biggest selling album ever by a female artist with sales over 30 million. How about this one? Lauryn Hill in 1999 on this date. It was reported 4 musicians had claimed they worked on her Miseducation album, and they were suing Lauryn Hill. The musicians were seeking unpaid royalties for co-writers and producers. That is one thing that I could imagine it must be a pain in the ass to deal with Lauryn Hill on any level, right? That's the impression you get, that this woman is an outright disaster. Forget about how talented she is, and she's got a great voice and all of that, but there's just something about Lauryn Hill that just says dysfunction, like everywhere. In 2007, 25-year-old hip-hop artist Lil Wayne was arrested during a U.S. tour after a concert in Idaho on a warrant stemming from a drug possession charge. Because of the nature of the charges, the rapper's real name, Dwayne Michael Carter Jr., was not eligible for bail. There you go. Those are some of the things, man, that happen this day in music. Let's give you a couple of other stories. Geezer Butler, if you're a Black Sabbath fan, you're going to want this. The bassist and co-founder, Geezer Butler, has been using his extra time at home this year to write a memoir about his early life and career. The Rock and Roll Hall of Famer says that he hasn't had so much time at home in 50 years, and despite how much his dogs and cats appreciate his presence around the house, his wanderlust has called him back to the road, even if it's been with no gigs on schedule. Based here in L.A., I have ventured out on some amazing road trips, mainly in Utah, my favorite state in the U.S., but apart from that, I've read a lot of books, watched a lot of TV, eaten much, dabbled with various new basses, many 5, 6, and even 7-string basses, Butler told the Wall of Sound in a new conversation. He also done a fair bit of reminiscing. As of 2020, it marked the 50th anniversary of Black Sabbath's first and second albums, the self-titled and Paranoid. The milestones prompted him to start a new project. I'm currently putting together a book about growing up in Aston, Birmingham, and how Sabbath came about. But I'm really enjoying semi-retirement and not having to do or be anywhere, especially after being away from home for the last 50 years. Butler is comfortable putting pen to paper, as he was Black Sabbath's primary lyricist during his time with the band. Regarding his new endeavor, he says a little nostalgia can do wonders for one's spirit during hard times. Every generation as they get older wants to look back fondly on their younger years, and music is a great way of reviving those feelings they've had for their younger days. So you're going to get a Black Sabbath memoir from Geezer Butler. That's pretty cool. Dolly Parton, staying in music and leaning to sex. She, on her 75th birthday now, wants to do another Playboy photo shoot. In an interview with Scott Mills and Chris Stark's show, Parton hinted that she wants to pose for the outlet in January for her milestone birthday after appearing on the cover in 1978. When I asked if it's true if she'll pose again for Playboy, Parton replied, well, there's some truth to that. I might just do it if I can do it in good taste, and they, Playboy, want it. We'll do it along with a really good interview inside, Parton revealed. So, yeah, it's possible. We've talked about it. Now, before you go back and Google and all that, she wasn't nude in Playboy. Okay, she just had her bustier or whatever it was. I remember back in the day when that happened.
Wasn't it one of those classic sheet things and the sheets covering everything type deal?
No, it's not even sheets. It's she had like some kind of a nightie on or something. But again, dude, it was nothing. It was nothing. Okay, it's not like you ever got to see the glorious Cans, live, in person, which is something that I think a lot of men would have loved to have seen. I think that if she actually really did a nude back in the day, it would have been one of the best-selling nudes ever. Guaranteed. Okay? Like, it would be like Beyonce doing it now. Okay? Beyonce does a Playboy shoot, and that thing is going to sell more. I don't even know if they sell the magazine anymore because I think it's just online. But if you had magazines, you wouldn't be able to print enough if Beyonce was nude. Okay? I can guarantee you that one. And that would have been the same thing with Dolly then. Okay? Not now, but then. What else do we have here? Oh, this one is, I guess not good news. and especially for a guy like me, this is a story that makes me cringe. The National Independent Venue Association warned that the collapse of live music industry was beginning to take place across the U.S. and will result because of the coronavirus pandemic and political inaction. NIVA issued a statement after President Donald Trump ended talks with Congress over a multi-trillion-dollar COVID relief bill, saying he'd only continue the conversation after the election. In a new statement, they stated that this would be too late for many of the 2,000 concert venues that make up its membership, and pointed out that a bill designed to support the industry had already passed and was only needed to be activated. We have been sounding the alarm since April that if our members don't get emergency assistance, they will go under forever, and it's happening, said the Director of Communications, Andre Fix Schaefer. This is really, we need help. We urge Congress and the White House to continue negotiations and reach a deal quickly, or there will be a massive collapse of this industry. The Save Our Stages Act has already passed the House, and the strong bipartisan support with more than 160 Congresspeople co-sponsoring it. They know independent venues can be a part of our country's economic renewal once it's safe to welcome people back if venues can survive the pandemic. Schaefer added that the group is also hoping, for the sake of our furloughed employees, that the pandemic unemployment assistance will be extended as people suffering are no fault of their own. The state's mission is to preserve and nurture the ecosystem of independent venues and promoters throughout the United States. The body explained these entertainer hubs are critical to their local economies and tax bases as employees, tourism destinations, and revenue generators for neighboring businesses such as restaurants, hotels, and retail. Independent venues exist in every state across the country. They were the first to be closed. They will be the last to open. The economic recovery process will extend past just reopening the front doors, requiring solutions unique to the industry. Every time I hear about this, it's so sad, because I don't even know when the hell we're going to get to the point that we will actually be able to go back to live venues. I really don't know when that's going to happen. I almost have a hard time actually believing it's ever going to happen in the near future. It may be years and years from now when we're actually able to enjoy ourselves inside a small venue and bunched up with other people. Because
House of Blues is out of the question.
Right, those small venues, you can't social distance and make money.
And those are the best.
Those are the best, exactly. And that's where we saw
what I just thought
our
of?
last two stops of UFO were in small venues.
Bro, Velvet Sessions.
Oh, I know.
Man.
Velvet Sessions, the Culture Room, the Revolution Live, not the Broward Center, but the Amaturo Theater, which is small. That's where we saw the Fix.
The one in the back of the Broward Center.
Yeah, small one, the Amaturo Theater.
Parker Playhouse.
Yeah, I mean, small venues
Gussman.
are so awesome, man. So awesome. So awesome. Led Zeppelin, for those of you that have been following this, they've been in the courts for Stairway to Heaven forever, okay? So they finally, it looks like they won their long battle of plagiarism. So the Supreme Court has refused to hear the appeal from the plaintiff's estate, leaving in place a lower court ruling that Led Zeppelin is not found guilty of infringement. Surviving members of Led Zeppelin have been embroiled in a lawsuit over the opening section of Stairway to Heaven since 2014, after the estate of former Spirit songwriter Randy California Wolf accused Zeppelin of stealing the section from an instrument song Wolf wrote called Taurus. The decision by the Supreme Court to not hear the case follows Zeppelin's victory in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals in March. After hearing arguments in the case, the appeals court upheld the 2016 not guilty verdict from a trial court. After it was announced last summer that Zeppelin and Wolf's case was going back to court, hundreds of musicians signed a letter supporting the defense of Stairway to Heaven, agreeing that, a victory for the plaintiff would set dangerous precedents for copyright protection on music. We, whose music entertains and enriches the lives of countless people worldwide, will therefore undoubtedly be affected by the outcome of this critically important case, read the brief, which also asserts that there was no evidence presented in the initial trial that Wolf's song Taurus was so original that its copyright claim supersedes Led Zeppelin for the similar sounding verse. The artist argued that the similarities between the two pieces of music were commonplace elements found in countless compositions throughout history. March's ruling by the Ninth Circuit Court also noteworthy because it overturned the inverse ratio rule, a precedent used in copyright cases for over 40 years. The rule states that plaintiffs in copyright cases must prove that the defendants had access to the work in question in order to plagiarize it. So there you go. They are free. Led Zeppelin is free, and they did not copy Stairway to Heaven and all that good stuff. Look, to me, when it comes to like a band that has 100 hits, and maybe I'm exaggerating with 100 hits, but they have so many that, you know, it's like ridiculous. Give me a break. If it was their only hit and maybe it sounds like a song and you could say, well, you never really produced anything except that one because you needed a little help, it might be a little bit more fishy. But when you're Led Zeppelin and you've got everything else from rock and roll and Black Dog and you name it and in the evening and all that, you forget about it, bro. I mean.
Oh, by the way, they only have 99 hits.
Yeah, I mean, give me a break. It's just ridiculous. It just gets to a point where it's just insulting, you know? I saw that story, and I've heard the song, and it's like, whatever, bro. It's, I mean, I can think of, and they're right, there are songs in history that one or another will remind you a little bit of the influence of another song. It's just the way it is, but it's not copied, you know? Big O, I want to see Tua play so bad, but I agree the time will come on its own. I saw Tony Romo come in for Drew Bledsoe for the Cowboys and gave the team a spark immediately, so we'll see. It'll happen, man. This whole thing about we got to hurry it up and we got to see him so we know what we got, and it's going to take a while for any quarterback usually to develop. You know, that's why I gave, what was the guy's name, Armdape? I gave him the two examples. And I said, okay, well, you would have seen Drew Brees, you would have given up on him. And yet he turned into a Hall of Fame quarterback. And if you see Carson Wentz right from the beginning, you think you got yourself a Hall of Fame quarterback. But then a couple of years later now that injuries mount, he doesn't look like it now. So I'm saying we're really not going to know about a guy early on. It's going to take a little while for them to actually, bust through.
Bad thing another thing to also remember, the supporting cast around him. You got two rookie offensive linemen. Gesicki's had one good year. You got two receivers that are coming back from an injury. Like, what do you expect from this guy with that?
Right. Yeah. No, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Last night, the Marlins lost to the Braves 9-5. Atlanta took a 1-0 lead in their best of 5 series. Alcantara got smacked around a little bit. 5 earned runs, 8 hits, 8 Ks. And I know with the whole plucking of what's the kid's name now? What's the kid from the Braves? Acuna Jr. Listen, man, this is just the silliness that goes on with baseball, and whether they're actually really throwing at him, which I don't think they really wanted to put him on base at that moment because that's not a smart thing. You know what I mean? So I just, to me, not a big deal.
Well, the way he ran from first all the way home, he looked pretty pissed off.
Yeah.
I will say this. I did hear that all the teams in the major leagues, he has been plucked no more than twice. The Marlins have now hit him 5 times.
Yeah.
And because it's happened in the past intentionally, that's why it's like the Tampa and Yankee thing. It goes back 2 years, this stuff. This is the 3rd year.
Right.
This isn't something new. This is history here.
Yeah, no, they've plunked them several times, but I mean, this is just the stupid things that go on.
You don't do it in a
baseball.
playoff game, okay? Not to that guy.
And that opposite field home run he hit, dude. Wow. I just don't think they did it on purpose. I don't think Sandy really actually wanted to hit him on purpose. It just doesn't make any sense at that moment to put him on base. That was the thing. Felt bad that the Marlins had a little bit of a lead for a short time, but unfortunately the Braves got it going, and they ended up winning 9-5 tonight, or shall I say it's going on right now. Actually, Pablo Lopez and Jethro Tull are on the mound. Ian Anderson. Okay? Pitching from a bald mound. Yeah, well, your mic's on. It would help.
I could tell you the kid Darno from that hit the 3-run homer. I could tell you firsthand last year when he was playing with Tampa. Bro, he has timely major hits like that. He did it to the Yankees several times last year. The guy is just one of those guys. The bigger the moment, he shows up, man. And that 3-run homer he put up there on the tracks, God, man, it was heartbreaking because it was like you could just see it falling off, you know.
I'm with you. It is scoreless right now, by the way, in the top of the second with the Marlins and the Braves. I got it on here. I just turned it on now to see what's going on. And they're at the cheating ballpark. They're at Minute Maid, and I'm not hearing any trash cans rattling out there. You figure you might hear a little bit of a trash can or two.
The Astros aren't there, man. You'll hear that, what is it, in Texas, right?
It just would be awesome if somebody was banging on a trash can in the background just for the hell of it. Would be just great. Just somebody for a joke sneaks into the stadium, starts banging a trash can. The cameras zoom in. And you know what? It would be great? It would be the guy from Airplane. Just kidding, something like that. Just that kind of thing. If you've seen Airplane, you know what I'm talking about. If you're too young, I'm sorry about that. I can't think of something modern that is kind of like that in a movie nowadays that everybody can relate to. You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't even need to be a garbage. How about like a little, like the buckets that the beers are in at the bar?
No. It's got to be
bucket.
It's got to be
You need a full-size garbage
Yeah,
can.
bro, because it's got to be what they were doing.
But it makes it tough, bro.
I get it.
I'm thinking like a little miniature, you walk in the day of the game, they give you the little bat and a little bucket of beer thing.
Yeah, but you may not hear like a garbage can, like a nice rattle.
By one of the mics.
Bang, bang, bang. And then the announcers are like, is that a garbage can banging? We're in Astro State. What's going on? And then they zoom and they find where the sound is coming from. And it's the guy that, Leon's getting larger. It's just that guy. Unplugs the lights from the runway. Just kidding. That you need that. That
Belushi, like Belushi in Animal House on the stairs. Just kidding. After he smashes Stephen Bishop's guitar.
That's it. Right.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Super Boom Shack says, "Don't call me Shirley." Drew Boo says, "Billy the Marlin banging on a trash can." Now that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Yeah, I love it. That would be fantastic. Johnny pulls the plug. Just kidding. That's it. That's it, GP Trap. That's it. So we'll see if Jethro Tull can beat the Marlins tonight or today. Or will, obviously the Marlins pound on Jethro Tull.
Important game, man.
Yeah.
I never need to get even.
I never saw Jethro Tull in concert. Never saw that concert. Never saw Ian Anderson in concert. I don't even know if he's touring anymore at this point. I know he's alive. I don't know if he's touring. Your boys are in action tomorrow. Bucks and Bears tomorrow for Thursday night. Another scintillating game.
The reality of the loss this weekend, that 3-0 start, it come down to earth.
Yeah, but it's 2 3-1 teams. That's
okay.
It's going to be no. Actually, I mean, I know the Bears they don't have a quarterback, so we don't know what they're going to get. Because you got Nick Foles and you got Trubisky.
Can I tell you what we're going to get?
Well, you got a great defense, so maybe you make it interesting with Brady. Who knows? Although I will say this: the Tampa defense is pretty damn good, dude.
Yeah,
like
they
that
picked
Tampa
right.
defense.
They picked up where they left off last year, right?
Yep.
Those last 6-7 games,
Yep.
they are maintaining.
Yeah. Super Boom Shack says he came to Orlando in the last couple of years. He was here a couple of years ago. I didn't go, but I've never. I've never been to a Jethro Tull concert. And it's not like I'll be honest.
You'd be doing it just like we talk about.
I know.
We haven't seen him. We got to get the check on the box.
All right, that's it.
A guy that name, for us to have not seen him,
But it's not. But
it's ridiculous.
It's not like I enjoy their catalog. I only know a couple of songs.
So you
want to
show up in the middle of the concert, hear the couple
Aqualung,
that yeah,
Aqualung, and get the hell out.
Right.
Sitting in the park bench.
Okay, we can go now.
Now I'm out of here. Okay. I'll be sitting in my car right after that song. Yeah. I got you. That makes a lot of sense.
Just to put the check in the box.
Yeah.
Because there's so few bands. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you're right.
I mean, you're better than I am, but I could tell you, like, listening to the radio or anything like that, and it's like, seen them. You get to like 15, 16, 17 bands, you've done 2 hours of music.
Yeah.
And you've seen them all. Then one shows up, it's like, damn, I got to see him, kind of a thing.
No, I'm with you. By the way, the report of the Titans players working out, Ryan Tannehill was among them. The NFL and the NFLPA are looking into allegations that the Titans had an unsanctioned off-campus workout last week when their facility was closed down because of COVID. And now they have pictures. According to Paul Kurhowski, a group of Titans players worked out together at Montgomery Bell Academy on September 30th, despite the league saying no, not to. Quarterback Tannehill was among the group. Guard Roger Sadfold suggested some degree of gathering when he retweeted Kurhowski's story and added, guys just don't want to work out for fun. This is for their livelihood, their family, their opportunity. Say what you want, but I'm standing up for my team always. Students at the private school saw a group of adults playing football, going through workouts, and there's a photo from a distance that makes it hard to identify any particular player that way, but a source told us, Kurhowski, he saw Tannehill there. When the quarterback spoke to reporters by video conference that day, he said it was important to stay ready, not knowing what was ahead of them. You can't sit around on the couch for a week and be on a Zoom meeting and expect to be physical peak on Sunday. And whenever the game is going to be, Tannehill said on September 30th, it's going to look a little bit different for everybody. What they're able to do, what they're not, what they're able to work out in a garage, in a gym somewhere, I'm not even sure. Every man on this team is in charge with prepping themselves, getting their bodies right, making sure that we're running, we're conditioned, and ready to go whenever the game comes around. I'm just going to make sure that I'm getting throws in and ready to go and throw the ball when the game comes around. If the league is able to substantiate the workouts, the Titans would likely face significant punishments. The Titans have 10 players and 9 staff members now diagnosed with COVID-19. It's because, look, man, it's not a matter of staying ready and all of it. It's a freaking pandemic, dude. Have a little more respect for everyone else. That's what you got to do. That's what we all got to do. Dumbasses, man. I'm telling you.
Speaking of working out and stuff, did you see some of the things that the Marlins did while they were stuck in Philly with the hotel and putting a sock over their hand and a ball? Man,
yes, I saw
you
it.
want to talk about getting creative.
Yeah.
To be able to just, for the pitchers, throw.
Right.
You know?
Right.
That was incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a good video on YouTube of Bruce Dickinson singing with Ian. Oh, really? I got to check it out. And you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, Bruce can do Aqualung. He has, because he can have a little scowl in his voice, you know, like Ian has. He could do that. That would actually fly. I can picture that. That's why when I saw Axl do AC/DC, I was like, yeah, this kind of works. Because when I first heard that they were doing it, I was like, oh, that's weird. But then I saw the first live show, and I saw that his voice, he kind of added that Bon Scott type thing to it, and he was the better guy to sing the Bon Scott songs than the Brian Johnson songs. Put it that way. And when I saw that live, I go, I got to go to that concert. And I went in and saw that concert.
Did you see that the new AC/DC?
Yeah,
did get a sample.
Yeah, they gave it out yesterday.
Man,
it was awesome.
It's AC/DC.
Oh, it's awesome.
You know what I mean?
Awesome. Can't wait for the new album. And they said, can't wait to also tour. Whatever the hell that is.
We've only been waiting for 2 years, man.
That's whenever the hell that is.
Are we doing the state of Florida?
Now it's not that. Well, I told you already.
Wherever they start, we're going, and then
if they start in England, and obviously we have no COVID issues, I'm flying to England. Wherever they start, if they start in California, then that's where I'm going. If they start in New York, that's where I'm going. If we're lucky that they start here in Florida, then yeah. But yeah, we are doing.
Whenever they do,
we are doing the Florida tour.
I figured that
for sure. We're going to do the Florida tour. I got to see him a couple times because this will be probably the last go around to see AC/DC. That's probably what's going to happen.
A pretty safe assumption.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, the Bucks are favored by 5.5 against your Bears tomorrow night.
That's all.
Bucks are minus 240 in the money line, yeah. And Bears are plus 190. The over and under is 45. Over is minus 105. Under is minus 115. That's what you got on that line. I don't know if I'm going to bet that game tomorrow, if I'm going to lay the 5.5 or not, because that's I guess that's the only way I can. The over and under, I'm a little nervous with that one. Because the Bears have a good defense, I don't expect Brady to light them up, and the Bears have enough of a defense that they could keep it close. This is going to be tough to pick.
You could do a teaser,
we
man.
We went 4-4 in our first week.
Do a teaser.
No, but
Get some extra points.
We're picking up
Straight up.
We're picking up straight. We're picking games.
I'm just throwing it out there to the folks.
I gotta stay steady and pick the games. But you're right. I mean, if you can pick up a multi-game teaser and kind of
get 6 points, yeah, man.
Play with
Take it to 11.5, right?
Yeah.
Take it over 50 on the over.
Yeah.
Play the under.
Yeah,
because the way Tampa's playing, look, the Bears came down to granted, I guess Indianapolis has the #1 defense in the league, I'm being told.
Yeah, they're right up there. Yes, they have been playing.
But nonetheless, you know as well as I do, the Bears have 2 wins that they shouldn't have had. They should have lost those games. They got lucky.
Braves, by the way, have taken a 1-0 lead right now on the Marlins, and we're in the bottom of the second right now, sadly. Braves are leading now. Let's see if the boys are actually they get a chance to respond here. The other story that I have for you guys is Daniel Craig. This is Daniel Craig's last Bond movie, right? I don't know if you know that. He is done. So, and it's been delayed now. It's not coming out till next summer. So Daniel Craig has offered some frank advice to the next actor who chooses to take on the iconic role of James Bond in the blockbuster film franchise 007. And, okay, there's nobody here in the studio at the moment. The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, the actor who's officially bowing out of 007 after his 5th outing in No Time to Die, had an important piece of advice to pass on to whoever suits up in a tuxedo next. Don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up. That's it. That's what he said. In short, he said, it's a beautiful, amazing thing. Leave it better than when you found it. Craig also addressed his decision to move on from the franchise. He says he's already given everything that he could to the character, who he's portrayed on screen since 2006 in Casino Royale, reprised it in the role of 2008 in Quantum of Solace, in 2012 Skyfall, in 2015 Spectre, and they've collectively grossed more than $3.1 billion at the box office. I've given everything I can, he said. I'm so glad I came back and did this last one. We had a lot of loose threads we hadn't tied up. The story just didn't feel complete. I needed a break. I truly admit it. I just needed to get my head away from it for a while And once we started talking about the storylines and things we could do and where we could take it. On his next assignment, Bond's peaceful retirement from active service will be interrupted when his CIA friend Felix Leiter tracks him down in Jamaica, seeking help to rescue a kidnapped scientist. The mission will set Bond onto a trail of mysterious villains armed with dangerous new technologies. It has already been speculated that Rami Malek, supervillain, is rebooted version of Dr. No. That's pretty good. Rami Malek does a nice job. Okay, for those of you that don't know, he's the one that played Freddie Mercury in the Queen deal. And what's that weird show that he has? Mr. Robot. I Robot. Or is it Mr. Robot? It's Mr. Robot? Mr. Robot, I remember. Unfortunately, we'll have to wait a little longer to find out. The release date for the 25th Bond film has been pushed back for the second time due to COVID-19 pandemic. No Time to Die will be released April 2021, a year after it was originally set to hit the big screen in order to be watched by worldwide theatrical, audiences. So there you go.
I like Daniel Craig as Bond. He's done a good job.
Don't F it up.
I like his message, man. He's right.
Right? And what are you going to do, right? Don't F it up, bro. That is great advice. And have you noticed this? That all these Bonds, by the time the end of their run, they're like, pressured and wound tight and tired of it. And I don't know how you get tired of being one of the most popular men in the world. You get to, every movie's with hotties, okay? Every movie. You actually get to film one of the coolest movies in the history of the world, because every Bond movie is always cool, everything you're doing. But then after every run, dude, it doesn't matter who it is. If you're Roger Moore, if you're Sean Connery, if you're Pierce Brosnan, whatever, it gets to a point where there's a lot of pressure. You always see like they're wound tight. It's a weird thing, man. You would figure that you'd feel like a freaking king doing that franchise. And then they're all willing to walk away from it. The only guy that was pushed out was Pierce Brosnan. Well, and George Lazenby didn't want to do it because he was, he wasn't comfortable being famous. But whatever. But outside of that, all these other guys, they're dying to walk away from it. Like, I need a, it's like, I would be the guy that, like, I walk into the studios on a walker, and they say, yo, it's time. You can't do it anymore. You're on a walker. And I'm like, come on, bro. Take it out of the picture. Do the, what's that CG thing? Come on, take it out. Just make it look like I'm not walking or something. I would do anything to stay on that screen and do 007 every couple of years. But it's weird how a lot of these guys are dying to get the hell out and move on.
And Daniel Craig just continued the pressure of don't F it up, guy.
Yeah. Yeah, Pat says Roger Moore never got stressed in that role, not 1 second. I don't know, man. He was
Lazenby was supposedly like a hippie dude.
Well,
and he didn't like being clean cut and all that stuff.
He didn't like being famous either. He didn't. He hated
different.
That. Yeah, he hated that. Yeah. Ray says great casting. Rami Malek as the bad guy in the Bond movie. The trailers look great on the movie, by the way. Yeah. Armed Ape says he was also in the HBO series The Pacific. He was great in that. He's a good actor, man. I never saw Pacific. Now you told me that, Armed Ape, I may watch it now. Let's see. You're wrong about quarterbacks in their first couple games or a year, but outside of that, Armed Ape, I like it. Let's see, Drew Boo. Sean Connery, perfect. What do you think? Goldfinger. Yeah, Sean Connery still is my favorite Bond of all time. Still my favorite Bond. But great advice by Daniel Craig. And Russell Westbrook, also a really classy job on his part. Did you see what he did in the bubble? He left an $8,000 tip for the housekeeper.
I did read that this morning. Yep.
He showed up and he thanked the NBA housekeepers by leaving a $8,000 tip. Most players were stuck in the same hotel room in the Disney World campus for months, which means a lot of stinky socks, clothes, and shoes. The 31-year-old gave mad respect to those doing the dirty work before the Rockets left the bubble, gifting them a massive tip and leaving his room virtually spotless. According to Brad Townsend of the Dallas Morning News, Brody confirmed the act to Taylor Rooks, saying, "They took great care of us, took the time and energy to do their job at a high level. That was the right thing." The NBA players and coaches have reportedly been extremely kind to Disney staffers with tips and other kind gestures throughout their time in the NBA bubble. That's nice, man. That's nice. Way to go, Russell. Good job by you, dude. That was awesome. Awesome to see that. That was good stuff. All right, it is time for us to wrap it up here on the show. As always, we thank all of you out there for tuning in, keeping it locked here, and supporting us. Let's thank our super chatters, Super Boom Shack dropping it, and Kenneth Cleveland, as always, coming in strong. We appreciate all of you out there, as always. We thank all of our friends out here, of course, at VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road. Come on out here, baby. Get all of your CBD needs for stress, anxiety. You want to maybe sleep a little better. Maybe you're dealing with some pain. CBD will work. You could get the hookah pipes out here. It seems like they add more hookah pipes every week because you don't want to go to a hookah bar now and be, inhaling other people's stuff. So a lot of people are realizing that they can save a lot of money by getting their own hookah pipe and product here. And we got CBD also for you for your hookah pipes too. So come on out here. We got all the water pipes, everything else. I mean, it's amazing, folks. And 20% off when you mention my name, okay? So make sure you mention my name when you come on out here to VSS West Pines.
I know that, dude. Where'd you get this?
Super Chats.
Oh, gnarly. Awesome. Totally awesome.
Remember, go to VSSWestPines.com or call them 954-613-3367. We'll see you tomorrow from Toyota of Hollywood. We'll be out there, 1841 North State Road 7, starting off at 11 a.m. You all be good out there. Be safe. Take it easy.
Have a good one. Happy trails to you until we meet again.